Look, I can only say about, for myself. When I played for the national team, I was always motivated because I'm very proud to play for my country, you know. And I don't know how it is in England, but we are a small country with 4.5 million. And I think who is playing needs to be proud to play and to give everything. To give not 100%, to give 200%, you know.
Ivan, thank you very much for joining us. Ivan Klasnic, Croatian striker, former Croatian striker on 5 Live Sport. John Murray and Chris Waddle, your commentary team for England against Croatia. It kicks off in 15 minutes' time. Jack Wilshere, Micah Richards, Karen Carney are with us as well. And Gareth Southgate has been talking to Kelly Summers.
Gareth, the wait is finally over. You start your Euros campaign here at Wembley. How are you and the players dealing with the expectation going into this?
Well, we're very focused on today's game and prepared tactically for the game. We know that everybody around us is hugely excited, and the players are as well, and we are as a group of staff. But we have to focus on the performance and put all the other noise behind that's around us to one side.
Looking at your team, starting with defence, no Harry Maguire, but it is a back four, and Kieran Trippier starts at left back. No Ben Chilwell in the 23 either. What can you tell us about those decisions?
Well, with Kieran, we feel a very experienced player, good one against one defender to stop crosses coming in. His communication and leadership, I think, will be a help. We've got changes in the back line, and I think that his experience will help us. With the 2 boys that are out of the squad and Harry Maguire, it's just unfortunate we can only name 23, and we've had to cover certain positions. So I don't like the fact we're having to leave players out of the squad in a major tournament. It's not fair on them.
In attack, we knew you had some very difficult decisions to make. Phil Foden, Raheem Sterling will play either side. Harry Kane. What do you hope they'll bring to this team?
Well, that was our front 6 in our games in March, and we had some continuity with that through those matches. I think they have an understanding. We've got fabulous depth to bring into the game. We know that Marcus Rashford, Jack Grealish are really pushing for starting positions, and we're going to need all of those players. This is going to be a game, you can tell with the heat, where substitutes are probably more important than ever.
You talked this week about wanting the nation to unite. Overnight, the FA released a strongly worded statement. How important is it to you and the players that you have the support of everyone inside Wembley Stadium from the off?
Well, look, we want that support. We know we will have it during the game. Whatever happens before is for individual people to decide. We know what we're doing, and our focus is totally on the football.
And finally, I imagine all of the thoughts of yourself and the players are also with Christian Eriksen and his family after what happened last night.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, we hope that he's recovering well, and our thoughts are with him, his family, his teammates, who I thought were incredible as well, and everybody involved with Denmark. We obviously have players that are very close with him and played with him, and that was difficult for them to watch. But thankfully the news sounds positive.
Thanks for your time, Gareth.
Thanks, Kelly.
Gareth Southgate with Kelly Summers. We're in full pre-match mode here at Wembley now. The scoreboard actually just a few moments ago sent a message to Christian Eriksen, which was applauded by the fans here in Wembley. A huge banner has been unfurled out on the pitch that covers the whole of the centre circle and stretches to the penalty spot in both penalty areas, saying London on it, picture of the European Championship trophy, and then various, it's upside down from our angle, but it looks like it's got various London landmarks on it, such as Big Ben and the London Eye, and both flags are at either end as well. They're just on the 6-yard lines at either end of the stadium. I'm sure they will be unfurled shortly as the scoreboard starts to show us moments from great European Championship finals through the years. We're just on 1976 at the moment as they do that. Just listening to that Gareth Southgate interview, Micah, he talked about Trippier for his leadership and his communication, and implied that would be valuable alongside, I'm guessing, alongside Tyrone Mings. But Tyrone Mings is the Aston Villa captain, so
yeah, but
Mings isn't short of communication and organisation himself, surely.
Yeah, but he's probably meaning to competition, football, and how far he got in the World Cup and how well he played in that tournament. So I understand we was all looking for answers. We had a lot of questions, and he's answered it. He's in there for his experience. He said communication and his one-on-one defending. So yeah, end of the day, do I agree with playing a right-footed left-back when you've got two left-backs? No, I don't agree with it, but we have to accept it. He's the manager. He has to do and apply his tactics. And throughout the game, I'll be watching it to see how well Trippier does, because he's obviously got so much belief in him, and he's never let Southgate down. So, yeah, I mean, I can't say anything more on that, but to just accept it. And
although you should have corrected me as the president of the Jack Grealish fan club, because Grealish is actually Aston Villa captain. But presumably when Grealish is injured, Mings is captain.
I'm not like you, I'm not like you, chappers.
Dig myself out of the hole that I got myself into.
I don't like, me, chappers. I'm not like you. I don't like to dig people out. I'm a team player, unlike you, the dictator.
That is, wow. That is harsh. Take me. Honestly, I'm not even sure why we booked you for this afternoon. If you're not at Wembley, I mean, Jack Wilshere's giving me all the insight I need. Take me, Jack, into what a changing room is like before the first game of a major tournament.
They'll be focused, as the manager said. They'll obviously be aware of all the noise, all the excitement, all the expectations. And they'll just be trying to focus on the game. I'm thinking back to my experiences, and even I just try and treat it any game like it's just any other game. But of course, it in the back of your mind, it will be, for a lot of these players, it's their first major tournament for England. They've dreamt about this as a kid. They're going to be living their dream. So they just, like I said before, I want England to start on the front foot. I want them to get the ball down and play and be in control of possession. Thinking back to that game in 2018, it was the other way around, and I think we'll see today how far we've come as a team, because I feel we can do that to them and keep the ball and dictate and probe, get the ball through the lines to our quality players. So they'll be nervous, but when the game starts, they'll soon settle down.
Jack, Micah, thank you very much. We'll have more from both Jack and Micah at half-time here at Wembley. Karen Carney, pitchside for us. Are you just turning around to take a picture, Karen? Are you taking a picture of the crowd behind you?
It's brilliant. The fans they're in really, really good form. They've all got their England jerseys on, singing away, looking at the flags as well. There's a Birmingham City flag, which I was taking a photo of, and Jude Bellingham as well. But yeah, it's just fantastic down here. Everyone's smiling, the atmosphere is fantastic, and just anticipating the teams coming out now.
I was going to say, it does, even though there are only 20,000 in, the atmosphere does feel like it's cranked up in the last 10 minutes. The England shirts and the Croatian shirts that were unfurled out on the pitch have now been rolled back up and are being carried down the tunnels by an army of volunteers. Some kids came out and they presented the ball, and that has been placed on the plinth by the tunnel opposite us. The London banner is the last thing to be folded up, and for us at Wembley, we're in a completely different position to our usual presentation and commentary position. So we're on the opposite side of the stadium, which means we have a direct view down the tunnel. At the moment, we can see all the benches that have been prepared for when the teams come out, and as the London banner was folded up and the plinth just carried down with the ball on it, we could see the doors to the mouth of the tunnel opened as well, and we are now waiting for the players. We can see the Croatian side on our monitors. They're all in black at the moment. They've got black tracksuit tops on, black shorts with red trim, and black socks, so they will be on one side of this tunnel as we wait for the England players as well, who have not come into view. But Chris Waddle and Luka Modric talked about this in the build-up to this, about how an atmosphere can favour a home side in something like this, and it was very quiet up until about 10 minutes ago, and then it has really cranked up.
Yeah, it does have a certain, obviously the atmosphere is good at the minute, but you've got to look at these players. Luka Modric played in front of Real Madrid fans, Barcelona fans. a lot of these players have played massive games, so they'll know how to handle a crowd. They'll be looking to take the lead. If they can get the noses in front, then the atmosphere can change. They'll know that as well. So first 20 minutes, very important. I think, as I said earlier, if England score, I think they'll go on and win quite comfortably. But if Croatia score first, then it's going to be a long, long afternoon.
Just looking at the England players at the moment who are in the tunnel, obviously Harry Kane is at the head of there holding a pennant. Jordan Pickford is behind him. Kieran Trippier just rolling his head from left to right, and Tyrone Mings and John Stones are next to each other having a conversation as well as the referee leads the teams out of the tunnel. He's picked the ball up off that plinth, and England are coming out first on their own. One look to the skies and then a look to the stands as well from Phil Foden, with that Gascoigne-esque blonde hair that he has at the moment. And Croatia maybe 3 or 4 seconds behind England are following them out now, with Luka Modric leading the way. If you want the tennis this afternoon, the men's singles final at the French Open between Djokovic and Tsitsipas, then that is on the BBC Sport website. Here on 5 Live and on BBC One, it's England against Croatia as England get their Euro 2020 campaign underway. If you want, go to the iPlayer, you can watch the game in HD and enjoy the commentary of Chris Waddle and our correspondent John Murray.
Thank you, Mark. Wonderful ovation as the teams came out from over 20,000 people inside Wembley Stadium. And here are the anthems. Some Croatian fans inside Wembley. The cameras have picked them out with their trademark red and white checks. But this will be much louder, obviously, for the anthem for England. So welcome everyone from our team, our BBC radio team here inside Wembley Stadium. And what a glorious English summer's afternoon it is. Blue sky, clear blue sky above Wembley Stadium. The white arch is absolutely gleaming, but it's hot down there on the pitch. Chris Waddle is with us. Karen Carney is behind the goal, so we'll be crossing regularly to Karen, who is down there in the sunshine on pitch side. And Chris, I'm not sure whether, I don't know who told Croatia what the weather forecast was going to be like. They were wearing coats, black jackets.
Yeah. Well, mate, it's something to do with the sponsors, John, I think. But
well, they've got rid of them ASAP.
Yeah, it's a good cracking atmosphere, which, you know, I mean, a lot's been talked about Croatia, John, and they could use this as their final tournament for a lot of these players, so a lot of people are writing them off too early for me.
Yeah, Luka Modric, the captain. This is his 139th cap. Ivan Perisic, another former great at tournaments, 102nd cap today. Kramaric on the right side, his 55th cap. Kovacic is 68th. Brozovic is 60th. Lots of experience. In fact, this Croatian team, before kick-off, 630 caps. England, 327. Quite a gulf. So we're getting ready for the teams to take their places for the start of the match. Daniele Orsato, the Italian referee, is looking at his watch. Obviously, the whole issue of England taking a knee is about to happen again. The referee just walking across to speak to the England captain, Harry Kane. England are going to get us underway. Mason Mount moves into the centre circle and over the ball. The FA released a statement yesterday, a message to supporters, which said we should all be united in the fight to tackle discrimination, full stop, together, full stop. And the England manager and the squad could not have been clearer in their message that they want the crowd to support them and not to boo. Now we know as well that Croatia, their players will not be taking a knee, at least that's the plan, and England now do take the knee. Well, certainly some booing in there, but a very loud ovation as well. And there's the whistle. And off we go at Wembley Stadium. England against Croatia on the third day of these Euros. England start out here at Wembley Stadium, all in white. The ball is fired down the left-hand side and out of play for a throw into Croatia, who are in the almost all-black kit with the red trim down the sides. It is only the third time that England have begun a major tournament at Wembley in either the World Cup or the European Championship. And you know what happened in 1966? Many more listeners will remember Euro 96, which ended for England here after that missed penalty by Gareth Southgate. Well, Gareth Southgate now as the manager in his black suit in the red seats on the far side, watching England begin against what, according to the seedings, is England's most difficult match in the group, against the World Cup finalists Croatia, who knocked England out in Russia in the last four of the tournament. Here's Vida, the experienced Croatian central defender with his blonde ponytail, heading the ball away. The ball is played forward. I think Trippier has taken a bang there, actually, just feeling his face. England have got possession with Declan Rice, and here's Calvin Phillips. Two of the players, 5 players in this England team that have not had the experience of playing in a major tournament before. Now here is the blonde-haired Phil Foden out on the right-hand side. Went in between two Croatian players, but loses possession, and now Rebic plays it forward. That's blocked by Walker, and England have the ball at the back. So Chris Waddle alongside us here in the commentary position.
Yeah, I think looking at Croatia, Modric is playing quite advanced behind Rebic, but they're not going to press too high. I think Modric, every time they lose the ball, England get it. He normally jumps alongside Rice. But it's a slow start. It's a bit scrappy at the minute, let's be honest. There's nobody really put 3 or 4 passes together.
Just to run through it again, the England team, Pickford in goal, to our right, Walker, Stones, Mings and Trippier the left back. If you've been out and haven't heard that news, that's the major talking point in the England selection. Trippier at left back, Chilwell not in the 23, Luke Shaw on the bench. Apparently Sancho, incidentally, is okay. The England people have told us that there is no problem with Sancho either, no fitness issue, not involved. Here is Raheem Sterling for England. Sterling, lots of talk as well about his place, whether he would be in the starting lineup or not. And here he is again, Raheem Sterling, who loses possession, but England take it up again. And in fact, Sterling is picked up for a foul, and it's a free kick to Croatia halfway inside their own half. So to complete the England starting lineup, Declan Rice, Calvin Phillips and Mason Mount, and Phil Foden on the right, Raheem Sterling on the left, and Harry Kane through the middle. Golden Boot winner in Russia 3 years ago, but has not yet scored in the Euros. Didn't score in his appearances, his 3 appearances in France in 2016. And the Croatian side, Livakovic is the goalkeeper, Vrsaljko, Vida, Chaleta-Car and Gvardiol, the young left back, Brozovic, Modric and Kovacic in the middle, Kramaric on the right, Perisic on the left, and Rebic through the middle. So that answers that question, Chris, where Rebic would play.
Yeah, and Croatia's having a nice little spell here. Saying that to give it away, they had about 8-9 passes. and they're getting the ball back again.
Sterling's pass a little short. Modric was onto that. Now Rebic through the middle. AC Milan's Rebic. Now it's taken on by Kovacic. Strong run to the edge of the penalty area. Ball goes out to the left-hand side to the dangerous Perisic, who scored in both the World Cup semi-final and the final. Here he is again on the left-hand side. Rebic is in the middle. Perisic cuts back against Walker onto his right foot, then plays it back. Vardiol is there. Little ball square from him. Hits the referee. Modric takes it on into the penalty area. Rebic now, but the referee says he had to stop play, even though Pickford made the save from the shot from Rebic. He had to bring the play back, the referee, because it struck him, and there'll be a drop ball.
Well, I've got to say, John, Croatia started quite well, haven't they? The first few minutes, obviously, it was scrappy, we said, but since then, Croatia are putting some nice passes and giving goals together, and he was unlucky there, Modric, because he wanted the advantage, but the referee already blew.
Yeah, drop ball, and he's actually saying, I'm just going to give this to you, Luka Modric, and he tells Declan Rice to step away, and then the ball is just dropped, and Modric plays it out towards the left-hand side. England 0, Croatia 0. So you're with us on BBC Radio 5 Live. The World Service are with us as well, listening from all around the world, and you can listen as well to live radio via BBC Sounds. First of our 3 commentaries today, again from the Championship. Austria, North Macedonia at 5, Netherlands, Ukraine tonight from 8. Sterling now in the centre circle, lays the ball to Foden. Lovely touch from Foden on his left foot. Curling shot, hits the post and comes back right across the face of goal, back towards Foden. And Croatia are able to clear it away. Thrilling stuff from the blonde-haired Phil Foden. Here he is again on the right-hand side, and then plays it back to Walker. So close to an opening goal in the 6th minute of the match, Chris Waddle.
It was a great throw by Trippier on his left-hand side. Released Sterling into the centre circle. He had a couple of touches, give it a foul, one thing in his mind, cuts inside left foot, bends it, aims it away, bends it away from the keeper. So unlucky, hits the post and comes out.
That really raised the crowd, raised the volume. Listeners to the BBC World Service joining us now on a beautiful afternoon here in north-west London, as Kyle Walker with a poor pass gives the ball away. Modric up towards Rebic, who hits the shot that takes a deflection but loops easily into the gloves of Jordan Pickford, with his blonde hair flopping now, his longer hair, all in yellow. I noticed in the tunnel he was talking away to himself. Did you see that, Chris? Jordan Pickford just talking to himself constantly as the ball's played over the top to Sterling, but he won't reach that, and it bounces through for a goal kick.
He's a goalkeeper, Joe.
Yes, I suspect anyone who's played the game will probably get the idea, get the drift of what Chris Waddle is saying there. Chris, who won 62 caps for England, played in the Euros, played in the World Cup. We've got Karen Carney, 144 caps behind the goal. What's caught your eye, Karen, down there so far?
Well, actually, it's Jordan Pickford. He's absolutely screaming, constantly communicating to his back four, but it's probably the first time he's had to really shout, because the crowd noise behind is just absolutely electric. And when Foden hit the post, it just erupted back here, because everyone thought it was in on the opposite end. But a really good start, and we look really threatening on the counter-attack, England.
That's Karen Carney down behind the goal, just a few yards away from the pitch, and England with the ball at the back. Chris, you've seen a replay of the Phil Foden shot. You reckon it took a deflection?
Yeah, I think it did, yeah. It took a slight deflection which pushed it on the post.
Here's Mason Mount away down the left-hand side. Takes it towards the corner flag. The Champions League winner, Mason Mount. He's got his teammate Kovacic in the other camp today. Sterling now on the left-hand side. Not yet scored in a major tournament for England, Raheem Sterling. Now Mount into the penalty area for Sterling could be in from the angle. The challenge comes in from Chaleta-Sar. There are shouts from the crowd for a penalty, but it's deflected behind for a corner. Sterling very nearly in there.
Raheem Sterling actually miskicks it. I thought he was offside. He could have got a free kick. As the ball comes through, John, he just steps up. It's tight. The lines doesn't put his flag up, and he tries to drag the ball back. He ends up standing on it, and then it's cleared.
Actually, Chaleta-Sar did kind of bundle into him there, but it's a corner. Mount is going to take this from the left-hand side. So first corner opportunity for England. The score is 0-0. Foden is next to the goalkeeper. Foden makes a run to the near post. Mount delivers it to the back post. That's headed away. It comes out for Phillips with a shot. The goalkeeper goes down, puts a block in. Not sure if it was him or whether it was a defender in front of him who blocked it away. But another chance, another attempt on goal from England.
Brilliant. technique there by Phillips. Comes out, it's not easy to control a volley like that, 22, 23 yards out, hits the target, that's all he can do, and it's a good reaction to save by the keeper. Come through a lot of bodies.
Yeah, nicely struck. Good composure from the Yorkshire Pirlo, as they call him. See his hair bobbing. Great day for him, great day for so many of these players. I mean, it's for Calvin Phillips certainly at the end of his first season as a Premier League player. Now here he is starting for England at the Euros. Foden on the left-hand side, still 0-0, but England, Foden's shot that was deflected against a post, Calvin Phillips' effort that was blocked, and England going back towards the halfway line. Stones forward to Foden, and as Foden tried to work it forward towards Kane, that was deflected out of play for a throw-in for England halfway inside the Croatia half. Of course, they have played each other since the World Cup semi-final when England won here in the Nations League. Dramatic late goal from Kane. England coming forward, the ball to the back post, and that is headed away by Vrsaljko, who got himself in between both Mount and Sterling and was able to clear effectively. England with Phillips doing good work there, winning it back against two Croatians either side of him. Excellent play, and England have it on the halfway line as they play from right to left. And we are in this unusual position. If you listen to us on a regular basis, bringing you commentaries from Wembley Stadium, normally we're on the other side. So today, most strangely, we can actually see the arch, and it feels like the stadium is much more open than it is when we're sitting low on the other side of the stadium. Here's Phillips playing the ball over the top down the right-hand side to Walker. Walker's touch took it away from him, and it bounces out of play for a throw-in.
It's good spell,
0-0.
Good spell by England, moving the ball up the tempo. Croatia's dropped about in that 10-15 yards. They can't get out really from the 18-yard box, and England's dominating the possession. Phillips is having a very good start of this game.
0-0, England and Croatia. England have never won their first match at the Euros. Croatia have never lost their first match at the Euros. They've been involved in 5 of them since the independence. Great international record, really proud nation. That's a lovely ball from Pickford, long looking for Foden's run, comes out to Kane. Kane to Foden, right side of the box. Foden onto his left foot, rolls it across the edge of the penalty area. Mount had made a run, had to readjust. Sterling now with it on the left hand side as England continue to put pressure on this Croatian defence. Sterling and Mount. Foden is into it as he comes across from the right hand side, but Kramaric takes it away and Croatia should clear it. They've got possession inside their own half. It was Kramaric who scored the opening goal, remember, in the Nations League when the side met here in 2018, but England came back to win it, and there's an unforced error for Croatia. A pass behind Modric from Brozovic and giving away a throw into England.
There's not enough options when they're picking the ball. Brozovic is playing the deep end of the 3, and when he's getting the ball, there's not a lot of options ahead of him. England have squeezed the game now really high into the Croatia. Croatia can't get out. They're 20 yards from the goal for the last 5 minutes, and England are dominating.
England 0, Croatia 0. Throw-in taken by Trippier. Mount with the run. Trippier takes possession, chips a ball into the penalty area. A glance from Kane takes it across the box, and Croatia should clear this away. They should get it away, but they haven't cleared it yet, and Vrsaljko in the end, left-footed, hooks it away towards the centre circle, but it comes back at Croatia once more, headed forward centrally by Perisic, who is back in there, and then chipped for Kramaric. It was that might have gone out of play. It didn't. Modric, hair bobbing, former Tottenham man, but very much now a Real Madrid figure in the autumn, probably into the winter of his career. Luka Modric, 36 in September. The coach yesterday, when he was talking to us, said, oh, he can go on for a long time yet, Luka Modric. The ball at the back with Vida. No Dejan Lovren, incidentally. He was a little bit of an injury doubt, so he's not involved in the 23. Lovren and Barisic of Rangers, as I was mentioning, also not involved. Stones steps forward past Rebic and gets a touch, and Tyrone Mings now to Trippier on the left-hand side. Mount, and then Trippier again, the Atletico Madrid man. So we have Trippier and Vrsaljko, Atletico Madrid fullbacks here on the same flank. Vrsaljko, the right back for Croatia. Mings, long ball aerially. Vrsaljko's underneath that, heads it away only to Mount. Little cushioned header from Mount to Sterling now on the left flank, in the shadows of the stand in which we're sitting. Trippier rolls the ball back and gives it to Mings near the halfway line. So 0-0 the score. Wales underway yesterday. You might have listened to that on 5 live from Azerbaijan yesterday. England today, Scotland tomorrow in the other match in this group. That's a 2 o'clock start as well tomorrow. Scotland against the Czech Republic. We'll bring you that live from Hampden with Vicky Sparks and Pat Nevin. So join us on 5 Live for that tomorrow. England with the ball halfway inside their own half. Here is Tyrone Mings. Back it goes to Mings, left-footed ball from him up towards Sterling for Salko, towering above Sterling, who was crouching forward. It's the Croatian who is able to clear, and then Vida back to goalkeeper Livakovic. Downfield, Rebic chasing this, but John Stones will get there first and just roll it back to goalkeeper Pickford. Chris Waddle.
I think Croatia are just happy at the minute. It's 0-0. They started brightly, I thought. They put some passes together, and England's just up the tempo up, and that's the way forward, because Croatia can't live with them when they play that high tempo. Yes. But it is very hot.
Brozovic through the middle, Rebic with the flick, but Flick took it straight to Trippier, and England have got it on the edge of their own box. Yeah, we can't understate it. Everyone in the crowd sitting here, shirt sleeves. It is very warm in the shadows, and most of the pitch is in bright sunshine. I think Karen said down on pitch side it was 29 degrees last time she checked the thermometer down there. It's probably not a thermometer, is it? It'll be a phone, of course. Here is Stones at the back to Trippier on the left-hand side. And then Sterling, right-footed, swirls it towards the edge of the box. Mount, Vida stretches, he's able to clear it away. England have got it back. Phillips, just a little touch, just gave it to Mount. Said, here you are. Off you go with it, which he does. Sterling, back to Mount on the left-hand side, cuts onto his right foot. He's got Harry Kane out here on the left-hand side, so there are only 2 men in the box. Here comes the cross. Foden and Sterling are those 2, but he couldn't find either of them. Modric in danger of losing it on the edge of his own area. Versalco clears. Kane's in onto that. Kane's still going through. Then Vida right on the edge of the box. Strong challenge by Phillips. Then Phillips likewise is upended. Might have been given as a free kick against England initially for the challenge on Brozovic, which I think is the point Brozovic is making to the referee, but it was given for the challenge on Calvin Phillips by Kovacic.
Yeah, they're not happy. Look at Modric straight at the referee, wasn't he, saying, what about the free kick before that? But this is a long way out. I don't think this will be a one-off the training going. I can't see them shooting from here.
So free kick, this is 30 yards out, a little bit more than that possibly. Mount is there, Trippier's there as well. Mings and Walker not far away. Actually, Croatia have got everyone back for this. And Tyrone Mings, who in the absence of Harry Maguire is obviously a target for set pieces. Mings is wandering forward, such a tall figure, white shirt outside his shorts. Trippier just turns to Mount, who's behind him. And here is the delivery into the box looking for Kane. It's chested forward. Kane had defenders all round him, and the flag's up, Chris. So it's a free kick to Croatia. England 0, Croatia 0. BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service, BBC Sounds, and Karen Carney watching from the other end of the pitch where most of the action's been taking place, because you're behind Jordan Pickford's goal, Karen.
I am, yeah, behind Jordan Pickford, and thankfully he's had not a lot to do, which is really, really good news for England and England fans. But just going off of the players, really, in terms of the heat, you mentioned it is probably 30 plus, but also the home advantage. You know, you can really tell when England get into that attacking third, the volumes in the crowd just go up about another 10 levels, and you can see then the intensity and the shift of the players. They just move another gear as well. So there's definitely a home advantage, and I can see why Luka Modric said in the press, you know, it is a massive factor and a positive for England, and you can feel it definitely pitch side.
England 0, Croatia 0, and the 5 substitutes that each team can make, you would think, would have to be a big option today for both Zlatko Dalic and Gareth Southgate. So the ball goes back to Livakovic, the Croatia goalkeeper, to our left. England with Phillips, good work again, wins it back. Now with Kane on the right, but Kane has 2 Croatians in front of him. The ball is cleared, but is in danger of being given away by Brozovic. Indeed, England have got it back. Foden twisting, turning, out there on the far side. Kovacic puts in the challenge. That was Champions League all over again, the latter stages, but Kovacic is in danger of losing it. He's challenged by Phillips, who shoots goalwards, but the whistle had gone for the challenge by Phillips on Kovacic.
Well, didn't look a free kick. I'm getting the benefit of a replay here, and maybe it was slightly, but Phillips, he's having a very good start, this guy. He's playing very, very well, but he normally sits a lot deeper. He's actually really pressing high behind Harry Kane.
He did a lovely interview with Emma Saunders ahead of the Romania game at Middlesbrough last week, which I sat in on actually, Chris, and honestly he could not have been more humble as Croatia give it away. That was careless. Brozovic passing it straight to Mount. Mount now on the left hand side up towards the corner of the box, joined by Trippier. Trippier coming forward from left back, then passes it slightly behind Kane, so Croatia have had a chance there to reset and England weren't able to take advantage. This is good England pressure. England, I mentioned the World Cup 66, Euro 96. First match at both of those tournaments here at Wembley Stadium were draws. 0-0 against Uruguay under Sir Alf Ramsey back in 66, and the 1-1 draw against Switzerland under Terry Venables when Gareth Southgate was a player 25 years ago. Can't believe it's 25 years ago. Brilliant programme, actually. Listen to it on BBC Sounds. Special memories from Euro 96 that was on 5 Live this week. Well worth listening to. Here's Kane. Kane to the left-hand side to Mount. Mount looking for the run of Sterling. Curls it into the box. Sterling with his back to goal. Turns, then tries to chip it across. That's headed away by the left-back Gvardiol, and he managed to clear the penalty area. And then it's Perisic who was back in there, but England have got it back. Ball played into the area straight to Chaleta, who is able to just turn onto his left foot and volley it away. England are certainly knocking on the door.
No, England's there all over them. Croatia just can't put 3-4 passes together, and they can't get a breather. England's just coming again and again and again, and they were very unfortunate there.
So in the bright sunshine, England with Mount again, increasingly influential in this game. He's made a good start. Certainly Calvin Phillips has really caught the eye. A couple of half openings for Raheem Sterling. Here's Trippier. The left back has also seen a lot of the ball, and he's just turning and playing it back into his own half. If you're out and about, if you listen to us in the car on the way home, this match is on BBC One, so you can listen to Guy Mowbray and Jermaine Genius with the commentary there. And if you haven't clocked it yet, every Euro 2020 match that is live on BBC television is available to watch in HD with the 5 Live commentary option on the iPlayer, and also via the BBC Sport website. So you can watch the pictures and listen to us if you wish. Ball's out of play for a throw into England. Just 3 or 4 yards inside their own half. A great colourful scene inside Wembley Stadium. England's songs ringing around the place. 21,500 was the figure they were talking about for a crowd, but obviously they're socially distanced all around the red seats on all 3 tiers, so there is a presence all over the stadium as the ball's played back to goalkeeper Livakovic, who passes it out to Vida, and then Brozovic, and Kovacic gives it back to Marcelo Brozovic, teammate of Christian Eriksen at Inter, where they've just won the title under Antonio Conte, who's now gone. It must have been so difficult for all the players, for anyone really, to watch that, but certainly as a teammate. Same applies to Perisic over there on the far side. The ball aimed towards him, he heads it forward. Rebic is out there. In comes the challenge from John Stones to put it out of play on the far side. Gareth Southgate's taking his black jacket off on the far side. I can see his white shirt absolutely standing out like a beacon there. Just to his right is Zlatko Dalic, who burst into prominence with the team that he took to the World Cup final back in Russia. Croatia with the ball inside their own half. Chaleta, who plays for one of Chris Waddle's old clubs, Marseille. Ball to Versalco. Here on the right, Versalco's missed much of this season with Atletico Madrid with knee problems. Takes it on down the right and is rather easily shrugged off the ball and loses possession. Sterling was back with him. England clear to the halfway line. Kane turns, and then it's headed forward by Chaleta. I have a feeling, Chris, that one of the issues that we might be talking about is, and I know it's been highlighted in advance of this, whether Harry Kane is getting himself into the penalty area enough, and he has been playing in a quite deep position. I'll come back to that, because here's Kovacic in the centre circle. Kovacic to Modric, got a first touch on that as the challenge came in on him, and that's not given us a free kick. I'm not sure, was it Trippier who came in with the challenge? It seemed to catch Modric, who was sent sprawling, and is sitting on the pitch now on his backside with his arms in the air, effectively saying with that reaction, how was that not a free kick to Croatia?
I've got to agree with you, John. I think it was a free kick. Referees missed that one. That's 2 or 3 where the Croatians are getting a little bit frustrated with the referee for not blowing the whistle. That was, for me, it looked a free kick, but Croatia's just coming in now. England's just coming off the pace. Very hot down there on pitch side, and Croatia now, who like to play that slow possession game, are putting a few passes together.
Versalco on the right, curls the ball in, dangerous ball. Mings comes across, heads it up and away. He was under pressure from Rebic, might have got a little shove in the back as well, but Mings was able to head it away. No fuss, out for a throw down the right hand side. It looked as he struck at Versalco the cross that it could really threaten, but Mings was up to it. So England 0, Croatia 0. And here is Brozovic once again, beard bristling.
This is what they want, John. They want to control the game, the tempo, the pace of the game, where England's had that 15-minute spell of really pressing.
Gvardiol, the teenage left-back, onto his right foot. He's overhit that badly. That's way beyond anyone in black, and bounces behind for a goal kick. Well, Zlatko Dalic yesterday said what we want to do, Croatia, is keep the ball. And, you know, they're well capable of doing that with some of the quality that is out there. So back behind Jordan Pickford's goal and down to Karen Carney.
Yeah, I was just watching earlier. I felt at a little bit of times that England were giving Luka Modric a little bit too much respect, but fair play to Tyrone Mings now. I think you guys thought it might have been a foul, but from my angle, he won the ball. Yes, he went through and gave him a little bit as well, but he was just letting him know he was aware. And then when the cross come in again, Mings, it was a dangerous ball, did his job and cleared his line. So I don't mind them ruffling up a bit of feathers down there, especially on Luka Modric, because as a technical player, you don't like it when someone's getting tight and aggressive to you.
Thank you, Karen. Throw into England, halfway inside the Croatia half. Trippier is going to take this. Kane comes short. The throw, Sterling peels away, shoots on the volley as it bounced up, but drove it well wide from the angle. We're more or less right behind the line of the shot, and that was 5 or 6 yards wide. Goal kick.
Well, having to go with Kramovic here, because he was marking Raheem Sterling. He just runs inside, peels away, to throw the ball across into his stride, and he just lets him go. And it wasn't the best effort we've seen from Raheem Sterling, but yeah, England had that 15-minute spell, John, where Croatia couldn't get out, and you thought definitely a goal was coming, but now it just seemed to come off the pace again.
Kramaric does well, steps inside Trippier, plays it through into the area, but Mings was there ahead of Rebic, takes it out into the full-back position. Mings' clearance, though, is collected by Luka Modric. Modric gets the ball back. This is his 139th cap, which you won't be surprised to hear is a national record for Croatia now. Phillips putting Versalco under pressure. Versalco then goes past the challenge of his clubmate, plays the ball into the box. It's gone a long way. Perisic on the far side with the shot, but he sliced it, got right underneath it, trying to hit it on the turn, and skied it wide across the face of goal and behind.
Well, that's two balls from this right-hand side, hasn't it? One what Mings cut out, which was a great ball in, but this one, he could actually had a touch if he wanted. He's went for the volley, a spectacular one, hasn't he? And it's gone high and wide, well wide.
Goal kick to England. So it is England 0, Croatia 0, and the volume increases. I must say, we were walking up Olympic Way earlier, and you know, to see supporters, in this case England supporters, coming to Wembley Stadium to watch a tournament. I think I saw every different type of England shirt that the national team has ever worn, and they were there in groups, friends, families, taking pictures with the arch behind them. It was actually quite evocative after everything everyone's gone through, to see happy scenes like that. Livakovic clearing the ball away. Brozovic gets it back unfussily, has a look over his shoulder just to check and see where Harry Kane is, and then Kane trots towards Modric, and Croatia have it back inside their own
Brozovic is getting far too much ball in time. He's a quality player, we know that, but Harry Kane's dropping, and ideally need Mason Mount for me to push in there and make them have a different option. They'll get the ball back a lot quicker.
Here's the tall left back, Gvardiol again. Because of his name, Gvardiol, they call him Little Pep. Here's Modric, forward of the centre circle, plays the ball out towards the right-hand side. Versalco pulls it down. Actually, there's nothing little about him, is there? Here's Modric, centrally. Modric plays it into the box, and then Kramaric, couple of touches, back out to Versalco on the right-hand side. Versalco up against Trippier onto his left foot, curling the ball in towards the back post to stretch. No, he can't reach it. Gvardiol. Cheers from the England fans, because it's straight through for a goal kick, and it remains 0-0 with best part of half an hour played. Chris Waddle.
Well, I think England for the first 4 or 5 minutes scrappy, then England took control in about 15 minutes easy, and definitely thought it was a goal coming, but since then, obviously the heat's crept in a bit, and they've come off the pace, which is all good news for Croatia.
Yeah, Phil Foden saw a shot which took a little deflection, strike a post. Calvin Phillips had an effort that was blocked. Was it the goalkeeper or was it a defender who blocked the shot?
It was the full left back, I think.
Yeah, it was a defender. Those are the good moments. Sterling's almost been in on a couple of occasions.
It was little Pep, I think.
Was it? Who made the block? Someone in front of us just takes a selfie. As Kramaric has got a throw in for Croatia here down on the Croatia right as they play from left to right towards the end where Karan Carney is. Throw from Versalco down the line. Mings gets away and then Rebic puts in the challenge, bundles him over. It's behind, and that is given as a goal kick, so it is 0-0. The tennis, by the way, the French Open final continues on 5 Live Sports Extra. Novak Djokovic and Stefanos Tsitsipas. It's like a day in Greece here in London today. But it'll be hot at Roland Garros, so you can listen to that 5 Live Sports Extra via BBC Sounds. And England with a goal kick, so let's go back down pitch side behind the goal to Karan Carney.
Oh look, Jordan Pickford, he's slowing it down completely, because I think England are quite a little bit rattled. He's pretending to talk to John Stones, but it's not, it's just a game plan because they've been under pressure, and where it's come from, look, they've just kicked it out of play now. They need to regroup, regain. Kyle Walker's turning to John Stones, back to you. But they're a little bit rattled.
Yeah, they took a quick throw, Karen, but the referee's having none of that, so carry on.
But where it's balled from is Luka Modric. He's getting past. It's these little 5-yard passes. He's been unmarked. No one's getting tight to him, and that's where the rhythm's starting. And then that's where the kind of anxiety from the England team is set in. And they just need to regroup because I think they're a little bit rattled at the moment.
Yeah, Croatia have certainly come into it more, as Chris Waddle suggested as well. Croatia are now getting more of the ball. It seems like Brozovic has actually dropped further back to pick up the ball.
He's playing like a sweeper in front of the two centre-halves, isn't he? He's just getting everything. He's available and there's nobody closing. I think Mason Mount's got to step in a bit more.
Perisic with a cross from the left-hand side, takes a deflection. Mings comes across. It had beaten Stones, but Mings took command of that situation. Quickly across to half-volley it away. Croatia come again. Kovacic up towards the edge of the area looking to get it back, and the challenge came in. Rebic was there right on the edge of the area. England are able to block it out towards the left hand side. It comes in, Rice is there, Declan Rice, and controlling it and clearing it away towards the halfway line. Yeah, England had the better of the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, but Croatia now have taken over the greater share of possession. Modric also dropping deep, playing it up to Kramaric, the former Leicester City man, who you might remember had no great success at Leicester, but then went to Germany, where he's really made quite an impact, playing on the right-hand side mainly here. But Versalco, he's come into the game more as an attacking fullback. But Sterling is in on the challenge with Versalco, and then Trippier back to Pickford, who just puts his left foot through it and clears it away into Croatian territory. 0-0, 32 minutes on the clock. Vida knew that Kane wasn't very far away from him, so he heads it back to goalkeeper Livakovic.
Well, if you look at the friendlies, I know a lot of these players didn't play in the friendlies, a few of them did, but this was exactly the same script. 30 minutes, tie-up, other team takes control, and second half probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then the other team take control. You've got to score when you have all that pressure, which England had.
Yeah. Poor ball by Kovacic has split Gvardiol and Perisic, and it's out of play for a throw into England halfway inside their own half. And I think it is absolutely true to say, and I think we should underline it, the fact that because of circumstances, England's preparation was not absolutely ideal as Gareth Southgate would want it. This team's not played together before, wasn't able to play in the warm-up games. The players involved in the European club finals could not be involved as much as they would have been, or at all in the case of Manchester City and Chelsea. And there's the issue of the injuries to Maguire and Henderson. Croatia, much more settled build-up. But it is 0-0, and Mings has the ball in front of his own penalty area. Cross it goes to Stones. Now to the right-hand side, to Kyle Walker, who's going to hit a long pass for Foden to chase. Foden stretches, brings that down brilliantly. Warm applause. Walker behind him, back to Foden, and then the two club mates on the wrong wavelength there. and now looking at each other as Foden passed the ball past Foden and through for a goal kick.
Well, it just gets the crowd a bit frustrated, doesn't it? Because they're not having a good spell at the minute, England. They're great control by Foden, a ball by Phillips down that right hand side. He just rolls it back off to I'd like to see Foden actually get out the full-back a bit more. He's passing things where you think you've got one-on-one, you've got the ability and the pace to go past him. He seems to check out and go back to Kyle Walker too much for me.
Do you remember the nerves, Chris, when you're coming into a tournament, the first match? There's always such a long lead up to the first match. Score, to get a result, all important.
You want the result, but there's not many classics first games, is there?
No, there's not. And the hot conditions here are certainly a factor. As Walker does well, uses his pace and is able to shepherd the ball, shield it behind and through for a goal kick against the young Gvardiol. So I
think the good thing, John, is that Croatia really haven't got a centre forward, have they? They've got a lot of possession and they're moving the ball around, especially Brozovic, who's dictating the game in a way, playing little triangles with other players, but they haven't got an end product. When they get the final third, nobody looks like they're going to score.
No, if there was a Mandzukic in his prime then it's a different matter. Bruno Petkovic was a possibility, the Dinamo Zagreb striker, who was involved in their great win, their extraordinary win against what was Jose Mourinho's Tottenham at the time. And I noticed actually Mislav Orsic, who scored a hat-trick in the second leg against Tottenham, is not involved. He's not been included. Whether there's an issue there or not, I don't know, but it certainly wasn't flagged up in advance. You would have thought he would have been handy. As Croatia clear the ball away on the edge of their own penalty area, Chaleta Tsar just puts his foot through that. And I certainly heard what Gareth Southgate said. It's a tricky one for coaches in this Euros to have to leave 3 players out. Coaches have not been in that position before, and that's something else you've got to manage, as will have been the case with Chilwell and Sancho today.
That's wrong, that though.
They should all be available.
Yes, that's wrong. You can't say you can have a squad of 23, but you've got to leave 3. Well, why do you just say you can't have a squad? You've got to have a squad of 23. It's absolutely daft.
England 0, Croatia 0. Stones takes the ball from Pickford, and then Stones, part of the England World Cup team. 5 changes this starting lineup from the team that started the World Cup semi-final against Croatia. Likewise Croatia, incidentally, both 5 changes from that game in Moscow that was settled in extra time. Certainly the pace has dropped now with half-time approaching. They've been out there for over 35 minutes, 36 minutes now on the clock, and in these sort of hot conditions, this is just exactly the sort of game that can often unfold. But Sterling now cuts in from the left-hand side, plays it to Foden on the edge of the box. Challengers came in on him. Referee was right there wagging his finger. No free kick, he says. Foden now gets to his feet with palms apart. He wanted the free kick, and Croatia played up towards the halfway line. Kramaric is shrugged off by Walker, and England have got it back. Free kick for England should have been, Chris, or not?
Not sure on that, no. I think Sterling should have released it earlier. He's run. If you don't pull the trigger, you've got to get your head up and release it a bit earlier.
0-0 the score. BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC, and here we are in the open air at Wembley Stadium, although strangely we've got perspex all around us. I feel like I'm on display with perspex in front. I'm looking to my left, you're sort of hazy through 2 perspex panels, and there's more perspex down in front of us, so it's like two-tone watching the game. Here's Mings.
I'll do that Harry Worth thing at half-time.
Yeah, in between the 2 panels. Here is Trippier back towards Mings, who looks up, who thought about the long pass, then goes in towards Sterling. Now Harry Kane, again deep lying position. Kane just near the halfway line. Challenge comes in on him from Versalco. Phillips now hair bobbing out towards Walker on the right hand side. Declan Rice is there, but England goes square again to Stones, and then Stones pulls the pass towards the left hand side. Mount, then to Sterling, who go back into their own half to Mings. Yes, I'm not sure entirely how long this heat wave, if it is indeed a heat wave, is going to go on for, but England's other 2 matches here at Wembley Stadium are both evening matches, 8 o'clock kickoffs. You'll hear them both on 5 Live, of course. The Scotland game on Friday night should be a real highlight. Trippier plays the ball forward, but Phillips has run. He'd straight into an offside position, and it's a free kick to Croatia. Yeah, Friday night for the Scotland game. Join us for that. And then the next Tuesday night, an 8 o'clock start when England play the Czech Republic. Let's go back down into the sunshine to Karen Carney.
I'm not biased at all, but it's good to see Jack Grealish warming up. I know he's Aston Villa, but it's nice to see a Brummie warming up for their country. But just saw a little bit of an argument between Jordan Pickford and John Stones. Really agitated. John Stones giving it back to Jordan Pickford. They seem a little bit stressed in this area of the pitch, if I'm honest. Doesn't seem quite right. I'm trying to find out what they're arguing about, but John Stones looks slightly flustered.
Interesting. England 0, Croatia 0. Half-time not too far away.
Offside
flag is up against.
I think what the argument's about, John, is Stones wants him to roll it out, the goal kicks, and Jordan Pickford keeps hitting them long, and he's arguing about saying we need to keep possession, and you can see why, because obviously it's hot, and so John Stones obviously used to it at Man City, getting the ball off the goalkeeper a lot.
Yeah, the key in conditions like this, hot conditions, keeping the ball, making the other team work.
Yeah, exactly.
Stones playing it out to the right hand side, and then ball is hit forward by Walker down by Phillips down the right flank for Walker, who's onto this. Walker's cross though. I'm not sure. No, it didn't. It went straight out from behind for a goal kick.
He was looking for the corner, but unfortunately it goes straight behind. But no, it's got a bit scrappy, hasn't it, and slow, and nothing really happening.
Yeah, and I know that the accusation is going to be, were England positive enough? Was Gareth Southgate positive enough with his team selection?
I think, as I say, John, for 20 minutes, 30, 25 minutes even, I thought England, I thought it was just a matter of time they're going to score. They're all over. Croatia couldn't get out, and then all of a sudden, again, that 30-minute spell, and they can't keep that tempo up, and Croatia come back into it.
Still 0-0 on this Sunday afternoon, almost perfect Sunday afternoon. But not if you're running around on a football match at a European Championship. Here's Gvardiol on the left-hand side. Then Perisic tried to give it back to him, but the block was in from Walker, and the ball just ran through to Pickford, who's able to pick it up. And Stones and Pickford just continuing their conversation together. And then Pickford runs out to the edge of the area, suggests that nobody wants the ball, sort of puts his palms apart, gives it to Stones. And then Pickford uses Mings, who will hit it long, and that's a ball for Sterling to chase, and it bounces thrice. Chaleta-Tar comes across, makes contact with Sterling, and it struck his arm, and it's a free kick to England right on the edge of the area, and a yellow card for Chaleta-Tar.
Well, it'll be interesting on the replay. It's just outside for me. Yeah, it is.
Just to the left of the D as Sterling was running. It was an awkward one, the long pass from Sterling that bounced 2 or 3 times.
That's a good outball, John, that, because Sterling's pace, he's got the pace on all of that back four easy, and he needs to do that run a few more times, but there's a few queuing up for this. Trippier definitely, Mount, Kane.
Everyone's interested.
Yeah.
Half the team are interested.
I think Trippier's putting it down, isn't he?
Trippier, well...
Yeah, it is.
He has history, scoring from free kicks against Croatia. 5th minute of the World Cup semi-final. It's the only goal he scored for England so far, incidentally. Mount is there as well, Sterling. I mean, Kane must have been a contender from this position. Kane must have been a contender as well, but the captain's
you don't see him take as many now. He used to take a lot, didn't he? And I mean, Trippier, I think he may get this up and over the wall to the goalie's right, but if you're going for a bit of power, you've got to go to the goalie's left.
Harry Kane's actually in the wall, so Kane and Mings are the wall in front of the wall, so that's giving the impression that Trippier's looking at the top right corner as he looks at it. Mount's there as well. Trippier takes a couple of little steps back, taps his left ankle with his right heel, and then he up and comes and hits the free kick, which hits the wall and bounces away and rolls out of play on the left hand side. And Kieran Trippier, in anguish, actually put his hands to his head that he hadn't been able to get the contact that he wanted, and then a handball by Sterling in the box, and it's a free kick to Croatia.
I think the problem you get there, John, is it's hard to get it up in the wall jump. It's a big wall, and they jump. Sometimes you're better off going to the goalie's left where the goalie's standing. To get it up and over there was really, I thought, a difficult choice, but the wall did its job.
England 0, Croatia 0. BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service. Listen as well via BBC Sounds. We're in I mean, normally the media positions would be much larger than they are here, but obviously so many people, the restricted travel, that Those who are here are all gathered around us and behind the perspex screens. There's a lot of rattling around going on behind. I mean, it sounds like somebody's packing their cases for their holiday. As Stones plays the ball back towards Pickford, who slices his clearance. Came at him rather quickly. Mount then gets a touch and it rolls out of play. He's under pressure from Modric, and it's out of play for a throw down the right. I liked his interview, Mason Mount, with Kelly Summers before the game, when she talked about Modric, and Mason Mount just threw in the little line there. Yeah, we played each other this season when Chelsea knocked out Real Madrid in the Champions League, when she talked about Croatia beating England at the World Cup. Now it's Modric. Kovacic now. Kovacic is away from Mount, up to the edge of the area. Stones stepped in, but the ball, Stones is now out of position as the ball runs to Gvardiol on the left-hand side. Walker is there with him. Perisic available. Perisic, low pass to the edge of the box. Slip back into Perisic, and then Mings comes across, is able to make contact on the ball, and Perisic, his momentum took him into Mings, knocked him over, and it's a free kick to England.
Well, you know, Croatia, they carry a threat. Unfortunately, they haven't got a centre-forward, and but you know, they've got a lot of talented players in midfield, and they look after the ball well, and every now and again they put something together which does look like a threat.
England 0, Croatia 0. That's Chris Waddle. Karen Carney's behind the goal. Karen was telling me before the game, we were talking about playing at Wembley in hot conditions, which Karen's done, and you know, maybe at half-time something to expand on. And she was talking about what the pitch is like here in these conditions. As the ball goes forward, Kane tries to get a flick on. Foden was onto it. Chalata Tsar cleared that away. Kane with a header. Didn't find its way to Foden on the edge of the box. Versalco was able to move quickly forward and volley it out of play. We're in added time at the end of the first half, and that is it. Just 4 or 5 seconds of added time are played. And England, who made a strong start, a decent start, had chances. Foden's deflected shot that hit a post. Phillips with an effort that was blocked by the defender. But Croatia have come more into the game, and certainly the heat's played a part, Chris Waddle.
Yeah, the heat has took its toll on England. I think first 5-10 minutes a bit scrappy, and then England had a spell of 20-25 minutes where I thought they were just a matter of time before they hit the net, and then they obviously ran out of steam a bit, and Croatia came back into it, but you've got to say it's a little bit scrappy towards the end.
Yeah, it's hot in the city, and it's England 0, Croatia 0 at half-time.
And on the touchline where Karen is, it is absolutely baking. At least we are in the shade here in the presentation and commentary positions. And actually, you were saying to John earlier, and John mentioned that right at the end, about what the Wembley turf does as it gets hotter and hotter.
It just takes your legs away from you. It's like running in sand, literally. Just the heat, and it's just heavy, and the anxiety. It's really tough, and I was quite surprised at how fast England started with the intensity and the heat. And then I think as 25 minutes in, then you notice that the drop-off intensity dropped, and the pitch, it just absorbs all your energy. It's really hard to kind of explain, but now there's water in the pitch, which might help, which makes move the ball quicker, but it is so hot out here. The subs have just come out now to warm up, so you know, probably with how hot it is, you'll probably see subs in the second half for sure.
Yeah, you go and get in the shade for the time being, at least for the next 50 minutes. England actually, Chris, when you look at those half-time stats, England have actually had more of the possession, 58% of it compared to Croatia's 42%. But what it certainly felt like in the second half of that first period is that Croatia were able to dictate the pace of the game a lot more. Well,
Croatia like to play at their speed. They want to control the ball. They want to play slow, really slow at times. Slow. Then all of a sudden they'll have a spurt of quick passes and a little bit of movement, and that's how they play. But when England had that tempo going with them for 25 minutes, when they were closing them down and winning the ball back high, didn't let Brozovic get on it, didn't let Modric get on it, all of a sudden you think it's just a matter of time. But to do that, even when the weather's not hot, is very difficult for a long period. So I think that 25-minute period, they needed to score, and they didn't. And then Croatia thought, right, we're dictating the game again. And you'll probably see England come out of the block second half, the first 15-20 minutes, high tempo. And if they don't score again, you'll see Croatia start dictating the pace again.
Jack Wilshere and Micah Richards are with us. England's midfield couldn't keep up that tempo, could they, Jack, as Chris said? And then that allowed Brozovic and Modric and Kovacic to maybe a slightly lesser extent to dictate that pace.
Yeah, no, it's tough, especially in this heat. I mean, they're world-class players who have played the game for many years and understand the game. But I think England were brilliant. Like what we spoke about at the start, we want to see him on the front foot, taking the game to Croatia. I think if they'd have scored, it would have changed the game and maybe brought Croatia out a little bit more. But no, I mean, listen, it's going to be difficult in this heat to press high like England were. But there's 5 subs, so I think we have the advantage in that sense where we can bring on players, get fresh players on the pitch, get maybe a little bit more creativity in midfield, and make these chances count.
Those first 15-20 minutes, Mike, it was Calvin Phillips who, I know it was Foden who hit the post, but Calvin Phillips was sort of running things for England, actually.
Yeah, exactly. He had that shot as well where the keeper just was seeing it last minute. He managed to parry it away, but it was interesting to see his position. When we talked about Rice and Phillips, you thought there was just going to be more staying in that central position, not really moving, but if you actually see his positions, certainly in that 25-minute period, he was trying to get in between the lines, he was pressing high. It was interesting because, Leeds and how much they run, I listened to them in their season and how much running they have to do, and it's paying dividends today because his energy levels have been through the roof, and he's been the standout player for me in that first half.
Sterling and Foden carried a threat as well at times, didn't they, Jack?
Yeah, Mika spoke about it before the game, but Sterling's one of the best at knowing when to run in behind, and I'd like to see Foden on the ball a little bit more. I mean, for me, I like him a little bit more in the middle. I know it's difficult with the system England are playing, but even if he just comes off the right a little bit in that little pocket where you can find Kane, because we spoke about Kane dropping deep, and the longer the half's gone on, the deeper he's got, and he's probably getting a little bit frustrated. He hasn't had many chances, many touches. But yeah, Sterling looks a threat. We know what he can do. We spoke about his dribbling ability, and if he can get in them positions, you'd like to see him maybe with one or two of the chances he had get a shot away a little bit earlier. But if he keeps getting them positions, he's gonna create some chances. Or if he can square it to a runner coming in, then hopefully we can get the first goal, and I think that will change the game completely.
What are you making, Mike, of Kane's positioning?
Yeah, he's obviously getting a little bit frustrated as well, and Croatia have been a little bit deeper than we all expected, so he wants to get on the ball. But I think Chris mentioned in commentary, we'd like to see Foden start, because when he gets on the ball, he's absolutely brilliant and just try and running at the fullback a little bit more. But Kane's not really got into the game, but it's only the first half. I think with the heat, Karen makes a great point. In the heat, when it gets on your legs, it's difficult. It just makes her not get frustrated. The game will always open up in the second half. A lot of nerves will be going to that first half, and I think second half you'll see a little bit more of Harry Kane.
And as both Jack and Micah have pointed out, there are 5 substitutes, and we will expect to see those during the course of the second half. Micah Richards, Jack Wilshere, Karen Carney, Chris Waddle, all former England internationals, all with us this evening, or this afternoon rather, here on 5 Live Sport. Let's go to the men's final at the French Open tennis. Naomi Cavaday.
Yes, and it's a French Open final with no Rafa Nadal. We've got Novak Djokovic taking on first-time finalist Stefanos Tsitsipas, and a little bit of trepidation as to what this match would unfold into, the level that Tsitsipas would be able to find. But I can tell you, it has got off to a flying start. No settling for the 22-year-old. He is up 5-4. It is on serve. There have been no breaks of serve so far in this match, and it's just been filled with fabulous tennis. He's just 3 points away from taking the opening set against Novak Djokovic.
5 Live Sports Extra if you want to listen to that. Earlier it took less than an hour for New Zealand to complete an 8-wicket win over England in the second test. Ollie Stone was out to the first ball of the day that gave New Zealand just 38 runs to chase to win the series, and they took it, which they did obviously, and they win the series 1-0. England's first home series defeat since 2014, New Zealand's first success here in 22 years. 7 minutes to 3. The latest BBC News comes from Stuart Clarkson.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thank you, Mark. And while the football's been on, the Prime Minister gave a 40-minute press conference at the end of the G7 summit in Cornwall. Boris Johnson says world leaders have pledged to provide 1 billion coronavirus vaccine doses globally by the end of next year, and that they've also agreed to raise $100 billion a year to help poorer countries cut carbon emissions and deal with global warming. Mr Johnson will announce tomorrow whether planned final stages of easing coronavirus restrictions will go ahead on the 21st of June.
No final decision has been taken, and the right time to fill everybody in on what we're going to do with step 4, with June the 21st, is tomorrow, as I've said, and that's when we'll be putting out the whole package of information so that everybody can see it.
It's understood the French President Emmanuel Macron suggested to Boris Johnson that Northern Ireland was not part of the UK. The Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab has said it's offensive for the EU to treat Northern Ireland as if it's some kind of different country. And in the last half hour, Denmark's team doctor has said at a press conference that Christian Eriksen suffered cardiac arrest on the pitch in yesterday's match with Finland. The 29-year-old is still in hospital. Morten Børsen says we got him back after one defib.
Hey, it's Charlie Hedges. After the football, host your own after party with a special football-themed dance mix over on BBC Sounds. Just search Home Nation Heaters Mix.
The wait is over. Euro 2020.
With Mark Chapman on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Goalless here at Wembley between England and Croatia. Still to come this afternoon, Austria against North Macedonia, and then Netherlands take on Ukraine. Tomorrow at this time, we'll be bringing you Scotland's opening game from Hampden against the Czech Republic. Let's bring you more on that story that you heard at the end of the news there, that it has been confirmed that Christian Eriksen suffered a cardiac arrest on the pitch yesterday. Ian Dennis has been listening to the press conference, and we found out a lot more details here then, Ian, on what happened.
A lot more details, Mark. Yes, it was a press conference with the Danish FA. We had the sporting director Peter Muller, we had the head coach Kasper Hjulmand, and we had the team doctor Morten Børsen. And as you might well have just heard in the news, basically the top line is they brought Christian Eriksen back to life, because asked in the press conference how close it was to losing him, Morten Børsen, the team doctor, replied, he was gone. We did cardiac resuscitation. It was a cardiac arrest. We got him back after one defib. Also, they revealed that the players have had a lot of psychological assistance. 4 people went to the hotel last night. They had a chat in the group. They expressed their feelings. They talked about the situation through. The players then today, as those 4 people came back, they had one-on-one sessions, and the players have been able to express their feelings and their thoughts. And Peter Muller was saying that he thinks this will strengthen the players. And they also have had a conversation with Christian Eriksen, and he said that was a huge boost, a massive impact on the players. And he actually was more concerned with the welfare of the squad. But equally, Mark, they were very critical, both Peter Muller and the coach Kasper Hjulmand, in terms of the timing of the game that I know you talked about earlier on. Hjulmand said it was very difficult, but looking back, it was the wrong decision for the 2 scenarios, either to play last night, which of course they did, or to come back and play at 12 o'clock today. He said, in hindsight, we shouldn't have played. We should have gone onto the team bus and to see what would have happened. Peter Muller said he felt no pressure from UEFA, but he's not sure it was the correct decision.
It's interesting that they said in that press conference that they feel that it has brought the players even closer together, and that they've spoken to Eriksen, because, I mean, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it is irrelevant, but there will be people wondering now how they focus on the rest of their tournament. I mean, these games do come quite quickly at the Euros. 3 or 4 days until then, 4 or 5 days maybe till their next one.
Yeah, the next game is against Belgium. It was a question that was posed actually to the team coach, and he says that tomorrow they're going to try to establish some sort of normality, but he says that players, you know, it affects them differently, you know, the shock, the trauma, the different emotions, but he says we do have to try to get back to some sort of normality. We're going to try to sort out the training sessions because the time is short to get back to playing football, but we'll try and do our best in our next match. But I think that conversation, that message that they've had with Christian Eriksen, that he was more concerned about the players and his family. Eriksen doesn't really remember much about the incident, but Yulman was saying that is typical Eriksen. His generosity, it shows what a hell of a person that he is, and he actually joked then that he'd like to play, but he says he feels he can go out and play, but they've got to get themselves together, and the message was from the coach to play for Christian.
Ian, thank you very much. Ian Dennis on the news that Christian Eriksen did suffer a cardiac arrest on the pitch yesterday. And as the Danish doctor and the medical staff confirmed, he had to be brought back to life. The Croatian players here at Wembley, reserves, the subs, warming up. England have been in their subs didn't really warm up. They came out very shortly at the end of the first half, but haven't done a great deal. A few of them are coming out now. Chris Waddle alongside me, bearing in mind the conditions, and Micah and Jack have both said it as well, you would expect all 5 subs to be made at some point during this half because of the conditions.
You'd think so, but it depends. If you're playing quite well, even though you've got to look at the opposition as well. They'll be feeling the heat as well. But yeah, I can definitely see. Is it staying 0-0 like this? You can definitely see somebody Grealish coming on with Rashford possibly. And then, after that, really, is what you're looking, Henderson or Bellingham in midfield. So, yeah, I think they'll bring 3 on.
Teams are just starting to come back out, so just a quick one to Jack Wilshere before Jack and Micah join us at full time as well. England would like to start this second half like they started the first half, with that tempo.
Yeah, definitely. Start at the same tempo, maybe try and keep the ball a little bit higher up. We keep knocking it around the back a little bit, just get it into midfield. I noticed during the first half there's a lot of space when we're building up on the right, and this is where we can really use a right-footed left back when he cuts in the spaces the other side, not right over the other side, just in that sort of inside right position where Foden likes to pick it up. So even if it goes direct to him or through Mount to him, I feel we can get him in dangerous positions and let him work his magic.
Micah, I'll have to talk to you at full time.
No problem at all, chappers.
The ball is on the centre spot and we are ready to go. Chris Waddle and John Murray.
Yes, thanks, Mark. No changes at the start of the second half, actually. So the teams as they started. England with Pickford in goal. Walker, Stones, Mings and Trippier. The back 4, as the whistle goes, and the second half get underway. Croatia kick off. England with Rice, Phillips and Mount. Foden and Sterling in the wide positions, and the captain Harry Kane up front. He's not had a sight of goal yet, Harry Kane. And Croatia with Livakovic, the goalkeeper, as Perisic takes the ball away down the right hand side. Stones trying to stay with him, which he does, gets there first, plays the ball back to Mings inside the box, and the shot from the clearance from Mings actually comes off Perisic and loops back goalwards, but Pickford is able to take quick steps backwards and catch the ball. So the Croatia lineup: Vrsaljko, the right back, Vida and Chelata, the central defenders, Gvardiol, the left back, Brozovic, Modric and Kovacic in midfield, Kramaric on the right, Perisic on the left, and Rebic playing as the man through the middle. So 0-0. Did you think there might be a change at half-time, Chris, or do you think you'd give it a little bit longer?
No, I think you'd give it 15. I think you'll give it 15, see how the tempo is, see how they're going, and then I think definitely if it's 0-0, Grealish will definitely come on first, I would think.
So it's 0-0. The World Service are back with us, the BBC World Service with us on 5 Live. Listen as well on your app via BBC Sounds to the live radio wherever you are. England 0, Croatia 0. The first match in this group, Group D. This time tomorrow, the second half between Scotland and the Czech Republic will be getting underway, and you'll be able to hear that with us live from Hampden as England have to defend here. Free kick on the halfway line. Chelata plays it down the left to Perisic. Walker comes across. Perisic still going, and the The offside flag is up against Perisic when he received that, and it's a free kick to England halfway inside their own half. In fact, ahead of the Scotland game tomorrow on 5 Live, if you listen to Breakfast in the morning, Nicky Campbell is going to be at St Ninian's School in East Renfrewshire, which is significant because that is the old school of the Scotland captain, Andy Robertson. So I'm sure you'll hear all sorts of stories about how he was when he was at school. Probably his old teachers will be involved. So that's in the morning on 5 Live from 6 o'clock. England with a free kick. Stones plays it across the edge of the penalty area to Mings, who's being put under pressure and by Rebic, and they go back. Mings turns, gives it to Pickford as England play from left to right, as they like to do at Wembley Stadium in the second half towards the end. As we look here to the right of the tunnel, that's a strong tackle on Mason Mount from Kovacic, his clubmate, and the referee has immediately pulled out the yellow card for Kovacic for that challenge, which is the protests are going on. Perisic is saying that he got the ball, Kovacic.
No, I don't think. I've got to say, it's not. I wouldn't even give a yellow. I mean, times have changed, we know, but he's not even lifted his foot. He's actually pulled his foot back. Look, it's his shin. He's clashed.
Sort of slid in knees first,
but it's not showing studs. It's not.
The ball bounced away from Kovacic, and then Kovacic slid in.
That was harsh.
So it's a yellow card. 2 yellow cards so far in the match. Chalata and Kovacic. Free kick. England. Stones plays it back. And the referee has said it's taken it from the wrong place. The whistle hadn't gone. No. One of the two things.
I'm not sure about this ref, John.
Well, Champions League referee last year, Daniele Orsato. Here's Sterling on the left-hand side. Sterling moving in from the left, plays it up towards the edge of the area. Mount uninjured by the challenge from his clubmate Kovacic. But England lose it, and Croatia come forward with a pass through the middle. Mings on the chase. Rebic got a touch, but Stones is able to glide across and play it into Rebic, and takes it out towards the corner flag, and is put under pressure by Rebic, who forces the throw in for Croatia.
That was a wonderful play from the back, wasn't it? Lovely 1-2 touch football all the way up. Beautiful to watch.
Yeah, memories of when Croatia were here in that ill-fated game in the rain back in 2007, when Croatia won and England failed to reach Euro 2008. Croatia take the throw on the right-hand side. Versalco with a cross, that's cleared away by Mings. Kane tried to get there, it bounced fortunately for him, and away from Vida, and Chaleta Tsar has to roll the ball back from the centre circle all the way to goalkeeper Livakovic to our right. As the ball is headed back by Trippier, Pickford had to be quick. Rebic was almost onto that, but Pickford, as we know, is very quick, and he was able to get there and volley it away on the edge of the penalty area. And one or two of the England defenders looking at one another. Mings gives Pickford the thumbs up for his quick action.
Yeah, well, haven't started the second half very brightly either at the back, so I cannot really say the heat didn't affect them so quick in the second half, but Croatia's come out again. They started the match. I thought they started the match very well, Croatia, and then England up the tempo. But I don't think England, John, can up the tempo again. There's a lot tired players out there in white shirt.
With our team here at Wembley today on BBC Radio, we've got Chris Waddle up here in the commentary position, and Karen Carney, 144 caps for England, is behind the goal that Croatia are now defending to our right. That's the end in which Harry Kane scored the winning goal, that late winning goal. Fine goal it was, with 5 minutes to go, the last time the sides met in the Nations League. So the 21,500 supporters inside the ground trying to do their best, but in this 90,000 capacity stadium, that's an achievement in itself. Kane trying to play the ball to the right hand side, bounces back off Brozovic, and Brozovic is able to see it back into the Croatian defence. Still 0-0 as Modric is challenged by Rice, but that's a free kick.
Harry Kane's found it difficult today, hasn't he? He's not got into the game at all, even when he comes deep in his passing and his awareness of people coming around him to take the ball off him, and it's just not happened for him today.
You say when he comes deep, it seems to me that he's almost always deep.
I think what Brozovic is just playing around him, isn't he? When he comes deep, Brozovic is in that area, so he's better off probably for the next 10-15 minutes playing a bit higher and see what happens.
Modric now skips the ball from left to right, plays it to Versalco. Trippier goes tight on Versalco, but Versalco in the orange boots. Back to Modric, now back to Brozovic. who has to go square, left-footed, out here to Gvardiol, the tall left-back. Walker forces him away from towards the halfway line. Kovacic now, sturdy figure, great balance. Kovacic curls it for Vrsaljko, bouncing ball. Trippier was easily in there, saw the ball bounce up, took his chance. He brings it away up the left-hand side, but then Vrsaljko went with him, his Atletico Madrid teammate. So he had to check back, but then does well, plays the ball to Kane, forward of the centre circle. This is better. Foden now receives it from Kane. Foden, 2 men on him, up to the corner of the penalty area. And with those 2 men there, turns and gives it back to Walker. And now the Manchester City men again combined. Foden back to Walker again. And then back to another one. Stones nearer the halfway line. Groans from the England supporters that England weren't able to get any further forward with that attack. Sterling out on the left-hand side, and a low ball into the edge of the area. Nice play from Kane, shielded it well, tried to angle a reverse ball to Sterling, didn't quite work, slightly behind him, and then Modric is tripped by Calvin Phillips, and it's a free kick to Croatia, 10 yards inside their own half. 0-0.
It looked promising, didn't it? Goes to Kane in a good area. He tries to do that little reverse pass that just gets read by the defenders of Croatia, but then Modric uses all his experience, wins a free kick, gives the defence another breather.
0-0 the score. The next match is the start of Group C, Austria against North Macedonia, which maybe to your ear might not sound terribly appealing, but I think that's a really important match in that group. North Macedonia involved in a tournament for the first time. Ian Dennis and Rob Green will bring you the commentary from our studio at the BBC. Really striking stuff that Ian was telling us at half-time from the Danish press conference today, that there was a point when the team doctor thought they had lost Christian Eriksen yesterday, but they managed to bring him back, he said. We'll have more on that later. Croatia coming forward, ball played out here towards the left-hand side where Perisic is able to bring it down. The number 4 uses Gvardiol with a back-heeled flick. Gvardiol's ball square. Now it's Kramaric, 20 yards out. Kramaric then takes it square. Modric tees it up, has a shot across the penalty area, but straight at Pickford, who's just able to stun the ball, pat it forward, and then gather it on the second attempt. He wanted to launch it downfield there. Still, Mount wanted the run as well, but Pickford thought better of it.
Yeah, it's been a problem today, that, with the back 4 and Pickford wanting the ball a bit earlier.
Why has that been a problem, Chris?
Because Jordan Pickford, I think, looks long as soon as he picks it up. He wants to play it. He's got a great left foot. We know that. He can really hit a ball at distance. But, you know, the players are saying would want to build up from the back. Like, now Stones has got it. They want to build the ball, work the ball from the back. And sometimes he kicks it very quickly and it's coming back. And the players have got to go and get it again.
England crowd raising themselves. Ball played to Sterling, but he was right on the touchline there on the far side, passed by Trippier, and Sterling couldn't keep it in, and it's a throw in to Croatia, 6 or 7 yards inside their own half.
I think the thing I like about Croatia, John, is they're a very patient team. You know, it's not about can we get the shot, get in the area. It's got to go in the box. It's not. They'll bide the time. They wait for the opportunity.
It's 0-0 here at Wembley Stadium under the gleaming arch in the sunshine. And I know why the crowd have raised themselves. Have you spotted it? It's because Jack Grealish is out there warming up on the far side.
Calvert-Lewin.
Suspect the cheering's for Jack Grealish, with all due respect to
I'm just saying Calvert-Lewin's warming up.
Yeah. Here's Stones carrying the ball towards the halfway line. The European Championship on 5 Live. The French Open tennis final is over on 5 Live Sports Extra, and it is 6-6 in the first set between Novak Djokovic and Stefanos Tsitsipas. Trippier for England. Back it goes into the England half to Tyrone Mings. And now out to the right-hand side to Walker. Phillips makes a run, he gets away from Gvardiol, then he beats Chalatazar and plays it to Sterling, and Sterling through the middle forces his shot past the goalkeeper and in. And England have their first goal here at the Euros. They're 1-0 up on Croatia, and it's a first goal at a major tournament for Raheem Sterling, who is mobbed by his teammates. He still had work to do, but he did it. And it's England 1, Croatia 0.
Well, again, Calvin Phillips, who was the best player first half. Terrific run, raised a tackle, which he could easily maybe went down on. and then he just flicks it to the outside of his foot, and Raheem Sterling, who's great at running in behind defenders, you've got to say it's a good finish. Goalkeeper gets his hand to it, not enough.
Lovely ball from Calvin Phillips. The defender Versalco was coming across, but Sterling allowed the ball to run, and as the defender came in, he managed to convert it. He was clattered, but it didn't matter, and the England players are still celebrating on the far side. It was actually at the end. I mean, Karen Carney down behind that goal, you were very close to it. You must have had a great view.
Like slow motion, Calvin Phillips went past 1 and 2, and then he fell to Sterling, and there was never no doubt he was going to not score. It's unbelievable. I'm not showing because the fans have come down from their seats and they're trying to get as close as possible. They stood on top of all the flags, but it just went off behind the goal, and I'm not going to lie, I'm in such a privileged position, and Raheem Sterling, the emotion, it was so good, and he went straight over to those warming up, part of the team, absolutely buzzing.
England leading Croatia by 1-0, and Raheem Sterling's goal in the 57th minute. Wild celebrations. And we felt, Chris, we were talking about it again at half-time, weren't we, on an afternoon, a hot afternoon like this, if there was to be a first goal, how important it was to get it.
Yeah, it had to be England. Now Croatia's got to come out, which would suit England, you would think, now exploiting the pace, the gaps that they're playing high, they'll get in behind a lot more.
As England come forward with Walker and then Foden, and England suddenly have got a spring in their stride. The atmosphere is completely different. The popular end, if you like, that's actually behind where Karen is, standing down there. There is a gaggle of them there. They're dancing in the stands, and here's Sterling, the England goal scorer. He's finally got that first goal at a major tournament, Raheem Sterling. Didn't score at the World Cup in 2014, didn't score at Euro 2016, didn't score at the World Cup in Russia in 2018. 12 appearances at those tournaments. But now in his first appearance at the Euros here at Wembley, which, remember, is the ground where, very close to where he grew up, he managed to tuck it away from 8-9 yards out. And England lead 1-0. And Gareth Southgate over there, hands on his hips, great celebration by him as well. I think he was uppercutting the air with his fist. Rice in the centre circle, plays it out towards the far side. And here is Kieran Trippier now. Trippier, Sterling takes it up 30 yards out. He's got Calvin Phillips there. Phillips, who is absolutely instrumental in the opening goal for England, the Leeds United midfielder. Mount back to Trippier, and then back towards the halfway line to Declan Rice. Stones now to the right hand side. And on an afternoon like this, Chris Waddle, this is where the possession really comes into it, isn't it? When you have the lead. Yeah, listen, England's winning. They don't have to get 2, 3 and 4. If you get the opportunity, by all means go and do that, but look after the ball. Croatia have got to come out and chase. It's not their game. They don't like playing high and pressing. So Harry Kane wins a free kick. Brozovic, not sure how strong that challenge was, but it's a free kick near the halfway line. Out it goes to Mount. Mount tries to find a way past Versalco, who went to ground, put in the challenge, but Mount was quickly onto the ball, and then Trippier gives it back to Rice near the halfway line. Here's Calvin Phillips. Really excellent play from Calvin Phillips to make the position and then play the pass. Foden now to Sterling, now to Mount, left side of the area. Mount chips it across, it's gone a long way. Kane at the back post, couldn't score. Up against Gvardiol, the left back. Kane's actually collided with the post there as well. He has. As he slid onto that, Kane has clattered the upright, and there's a bit of concern actually for the England captain immediately from the goalkeeper. Livakovic came in at pace, and he's caught the post with his shoulder, and he got underneath the shot and then really rattled the post as he slid in on his left side. It's hit his upper left ribs. What was your view like of that, Karen Carney, down there behind that goal?
Yeah, it did look great. The ball was played across, and he tried to get there, and it was cleared away. As you can see, he's going to have a goal, but he absolutely smashed the post, and straight away Foden went over to him. It didn't look good. He stayed down. He's still down. The medics are just around him. I'm hoping he's okay. He seems to be just taking his time, but he did crash and hit the post with with some force and some pace as well, but he's just starting to get up, I think. So fingers crossed he's going to be okay.
The stretcher is coming across, actually.
He's up.
Yeah, just in front of Karen.
I think the stretcher is kind of blindsided by the actual net, but he is up. The stretcher has gone across, but I think they're just taking their time with him. I think there's thumbs up. He's up onto his feet, thankfully. England fans applauding him as he gets to his feet. Seems to be okay, Harry Kane. Yeah, he's up.
Meanwhile,
and running.
I see Gareth Southgate was preparing Dominic Calvert-Lewin on the far side, but a huge cheer because Harry Kane is on his feet and he's running towards the corner flag, and then says to the referee, can I come back on? And he's on.
And by the way, we should have scored. I mean, it was a deflected cross, wasn't it? Come across the far post, and maybe he just took his eye off it with a challenge the last second, and it's gone wide. But that was a good opportunity for him.
If the England captain had been able to convert that 2-0 up on this hot afternoon, that would have been a long way for Croatia to come back. As it is, still only one goal in it. Raheem Sterling scoring for the 15th time for England. The most experienced man in this England squad. This is 62nd cap today. 1-0. And Harry Kane just keeping an eye on him. Seems okay. Seems to be moving easily enough. I mean, there'll clearly be... He will have bruised ribs after that. And the referee has shown a yellow card to Phil Foden. Well, Guardiola went down in the challenge.
The player's got him that. Perisic runs across 20 yards. Look, he's caught his toe slightly. I mean, it's nothing. Look, he's just tread on his foot. Yeah, except that he's a bit late, but nothing in it.
Debatable yellow card there.
I wouldn't give him a yellow for that. Perisic runs over and has a word with him, the referee, and then next thing he gets a card out.
Well, I think Kovacic can be unhappy with his yellow card, and Foden can too. England 1, Croatia 0. This is Euro 2020, the delayed Euro 2020, live on BBC Radio and 5 Live and the World Service as well. People listening all around the planet. As Sterling, the goal scorer, takes it on. He was blocked by Versalco. The ball had gone.
He lost the ball.
Yeah, the ball had already gone. Sterling ran into him. No free kick. Boos from some of the England supporters inside Wembley Stadium. With the ball on the ground with Chaleta Tsar. Some more movement on the far side, which is where the England substitutes are. Just to the right of the tunnel as we look. Gareth Southgate just pacing around from side to side. Versalco for Croatia with a cross from the right. That was blocked by Sterling. It's taken on by Brozovic. Now into the area. Modric is there. Back to Versalco. Crosses. Comes off right. Kovacic with a shot into the penalty area. Bounces away. Rebic with a chance. Pulled it wide with his left foot from 12 yards.
I'm not saying it's a great chance because it came in very quick, and it's a hard volley, wasn't it? You had to lash it in very quick. It happened very quick. So, I mean, yes, could he hit the target? Difficult. Out his chest. He was under pressure, and he's just smashed it away, doesn't he? So, but they've still got a threat, Croatia.
England with a narrow lead, 1-0. Steve Holland and Gareth Southgate, I can see, are speaking to one another over there in the England coaching area. Clearly, a change is not too far away, with 65 minutes on the clock. Here's Kovacic. Kovacic now to Brozovic, who's caught in possession. England were all over him. Phillips and Mount. Mount takes it on. He's got Kane to his right. Still going Mount. And then Brozovic in with a challenge. Mount goes down. It's a free kick. Croatia unhappy. It's a yellow card as well for the challenge by Brozovic. Just eased Mount over.
Well, it was always going to happen. Brozovic, I mean, there's hardly anything in it really. He just crosses his path. I mean, I think the way the rules are, obviously that is a yellow card, but he didn't really touch him.
Yellow card. That's the third one for Croatia. England with a free kick. This is slightly right of centre. Over on Sports Extra, incidentally, Tsitsipas has taken the first set on the tiebreak against Djokovic. So Tsitsipas, one set up in the French Open final. But absolutely, if it's anything like this, it'll be baking in Paris. Free kick for England here in London. Mount is over this one. So it's a right-sided free kick. Again, England put up the two men in the wall, Kane and Mings, probably the two tallest players out there.
I think they reverse this, John. Where the goalie's standing now, I think that's where the ball's going to go.
Which is, as we look, it's to the left.
Yeah, I think he's going to reverse this over the wall.
It's the top left corner. Mount with the free kick, then he goes for that corner, and it's just over the top. Goalkeeper was there, might have had it covered, but it was a foot over.
Well, as the manager said to me once, you get nothing for the no. So it was a good effort, but you got to hit the target, mate.
I thought that was Bruce Forsyth who said that. Not in this game.
No, he's no, you get nothing.
Free kick, goal kick for Croatia, who passed the ball out from the back. England leading by 1-0. Let's pop down to Karen as well, behind the goal, down on pitch level.
Oh, sorry guys, I was concentrating then, but it looks like Southgate's talking to Marcus Rashford. I would think he's going to come on, I think possibly for Harry Kane. He's taking his bib off, looks like he's coming on, getting some tactical information. I think he'll be coming on very soon.
Don't worry, Karen, it's very hot down there as Croatia trying to play the ball out from the back. Good pressure from England, good pressure from Mount. He's been really bright again, Mason Mount, putting Brozovic under pressure. Came off Mount in the end, it's a goal kick, but just not letting Croatia settle.
Good pressure, that's what they need, yeah. They don't let Croatia put a few passes again and get up the field.
Remember, England have never won their first match at a European Championship in 9 previous attempts. They're 1-0 up here, and we are now into the last quarter of the match. Ball is passed out from the back again by Croatia. Brozovic to Vrsaljko out on the right flank. As Karen said, Rashford preparing himself. A number of other England substitutes as well, just come down the steps over there on the far side. Calvin Phillips stretches, but England lose possession. And now here's Gvardiol down the left-hand side, still going. Foden chasing him, looking for a 1-2. The ball bounces off either Gvardiol or Walker. It's Walker, says the referee. It's a corner to Croatia. This is their first corner of the match.
Well, Modric has gone over to take it. All England's winning and they are in control of the game at the minute, John. You just want to get that second goal and completely finish it off.
Just keeping an eye on the central defenders. Big Vida there with his ponytail. Big character. Chaleta Tsar as well, taking up a position at the far post. The referee's just making it clear that he doesn't want any argy-bargy going on in there. Modric, hands on his hips. Here's the corner for Croatia. It is played out to the edge of the area. A driven shot by Brozovic, who was stretching for it. And because of that, he sent it well wide past a crowd of players. And we're going to have a rush of substitutions, Chris.
It was well worked, though, off the training ground.
Brozovic, that's Brozovic's last act of the match. So he is going to be replaced by Nikola Vlasic, who is an attacking midfielder, plays for CSKA Moscow. So Vlasic is on for Brozovic, who was on a yellow card as well, remember. And Kramaric, who has admittedly been quiet in the game, he is replaced by just trying to find him on my list. Meanwhile, Foden is replaced by Rashford. So Marcus Rashford is coming on, and it's Foden who's replaced. Chris, thought it might be Harry Kane after the collision with the post.
No, I had a feeling it might be in Foden. I think Harry Kane will stay on. Sterling's doing all right, isn't he? So we'll leave him on as a threat.
And Rashford coming over to the right-hand side. So Sterling staying on the left, Rashford on the right, at least for the time being. So 2 changes for Croatia and the first for England. And it was Brekalo who has come on, Josip Brekalo of Wolfsburg, who is a wide player, can play at full-back or as a winger. England leading 1-0. Zlatko Dalic making his first 2 changes, trying to force the issue now. Here's Mings inside his own half, playing the ball forward. And then Mount down the left-hand side, but across comes Vrsaljko and puts in the challenge. And in actual fact, the ball had deflected out of play for a throw-in to Croatia. So 1-0 to England. Raheem Sterling, the goal scorer. If you've just joined us on 5 Live on this Sunday afternoon, it's on BBC One, by the way. You can listen to the 5 Live commentary with the pictures on the iPlayer. But Guy Mowbray and Jermaine Genius are sitting in the tier above us, aren't they, Chris? They're up in the gods. That's very much TV and radio, isn't it? We know our place down here among the people. And Croatia have got the ball on the right-hand side. Ball is played back towards Kovacic. Kovacic, middle of the half. Pass up towards the edge of the box. Left-footed curling ball towards Perisic. Stretch from Walker, got up well ahead of him. And then the ball is hooked away. Here's Rashford into the game for the first time, but the ball will... he'll be beaten to the ball by Chalata-Tsar. And then Perisic as well. Kovacic to Modric. Modric has a little look forward. Options weren't there, so out goes the ball to Versalco, winning his 50th cap on the far side. Versalco with a flick infield towards the newly arrived Brekalo, and then it's worked by Rebic out to the right flank to Versalco. Rebic continues down into the full-back position. Declan Rice has gone out there with him. Versalco with a cross. Rebic tries to get there. The ball's deflected across the 6-yard box, but Perisic couldn't get there. Walker did well, actually, got himself in the right position, and Pickford picked up the bouncing ball.
As you say, Walker does ideal, doesn't he? He just cuts his lane off Perisic. He doesn't go to attack the ball. He goes, gambles the other side, but Walker lets it cross his body, and then it's an easy pick-up for Jordan Pickford. Kyle Walker does ever so well there.
England 1, Croatia 0. Less than 20 minutes to go. Calvin Phillips. Actually, it's Rice behind Phillips who heads the ball forward, and then Harry Kane is challenged by Chalata-Tsar, and that's a free kick that's gone England's way.
And he's on a yellow.
Yeah, he has. Already received a yellow card.
It is a foul. Definite foul, straight in the back of Harry Kane.
Free kick then, forward of the centre circle. Does feel like England have... I mean, that was a foul. That's a free kick. But it feels like England maybe have had the rub of the green with the decisions.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And we talked before this Euros, so many different host nations, about how significant that could be. Free kick that is taken by Trippier. Long into the area, Mings was after it, heads it back, comes out, Sterling with a chance, but he's slashed at it. There are a crowd of players in front of him on the edge of the 6-yard box. He was 13, 14 yards out, and he did just, with his left foot, hit it wildly wide.
Yeah, it's a bit of composure, isn't it? He gets a little bit excited and he lashes at it with his left foot, really puts his foot through it. You need that little bit of composure. He's hit the target.
As they say, his eyes lit up. I think he thought he might be on for a second goal there in the opening match for England, but a goal kick. And Croatia. See, Harry Kane has just gone across there to talk to the referee again.
Stones in the centre circle.
Because John Stones is sitting down in the centre circle. And is he suggesting that he was blocked off the ball? And the medical people have been called on to have a look at John Stones. And listen, with Harry Maguire out and not certain to be involved in the group stages, if there's one player England don't want to lose, it's John Stones. More on that from Chris Waddle in a moment, but let's go down pitch side as well, again into the sunshine to Karen Carney.
Yeah, hi guys. I think it was just cramp from John Stones. When the cross came in, Tyrone Mings and himself jumped up, and as he landed he got cramp, but when that ball dropped there was confusion between Harry Kane and Raheem Sterling, and neither made the decision. And then when Raheem Sterling went to go onto it, he was in a rush because he was the confusion that led to that, and he lashed out with his left foot, but it was a glorious opportunity and really should have been 2-0 to England. But John Stones, I think, is just suffering with cramp. It is absolutely boiling. It is well above 30 pitch level, so I suspect there might be a few more people that will get cramp in the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, look, I think recovery after this match will be an issue as well. Stones is back on his feet, and yeah, Karen and Chris suggesting that it was cramp. He's walked off quite comfortably, still receiving a little bit of treatment, just flexes his knees, bends down. We'll have a slurp of water as well. It is actually so warm here. I wonder whether water breaks were a possibility. Crikey, we don't often say that, do we, in the UK? But it's a throw-in to England, halfway inside their own half. England leading Croatia by 1-0. There's more activity on the far side, so we'll try and keep an eye on that. Actually, Karen's got a much better view of what's going on, so if we need to where Tsitsipas is a set-up on Djokovic. Incidentally, if you haven't heard it, Hartlepool won 1-0 against Stockport in the National League playoff semi-final this afternoon, so we'll play Torquay on Saturday. Here's Perisic on the left-hand side. Perisic plays the ball back towards Gvardiol, who's heading for RB Leipzig, and he's caught the eye, I must say, the young left-back. Vidat whistles as the central defender has it inside the England half. Now on the right-hand side, Brekalo turns, the number 7, uses Versalco. Brekalo continued his run. Thought he might have strayed offside. Doesn't matter, the ball's
would have, but it was
deflected out of play for a throw to Croatia, which is taken to Rebic, who angles the ball back towards the byline on the right-hand side. The ball comes across, but Rice was in position there to control it and just volley it up in the air and out of play on the far side. This could be the pattern now as Croatia make a third change on the far side of the field. Could be an England defensive operation from this point on, and it's Rebic who makes way, and it is Bruno Petkovic who comes on to replace him. We thought that Petkovic might be the central striker, the Dinamo Zagreb top scorer in the qualifying, but he is on the field now, the number 20. The throw-in is taken and England win a free kick down in their own left-back position. Sterling wins the free kick. Chris Waddle.
Yeah, well, England now, Croatia want to push more pressure on England, but I don't think they've got the legs, John. They like to play, keep ball. It's not their game to go and press high and up the tempo. They like to keep hold of the football, and it's suiting England, because England are tired, you can see that.
Let's go back down to Karen Carney on pitch side.
I'm pretty sure that Gareth Southgate turned to Jude Bellingham and said 5 minutes and you're on, and Jude Bellingham's starting to aggressively warm up now, so I suspect there might be a change. Connor Cody's out there as well, I think, again because of the cramp perhaps to John Stones, but I think Jude Bellingham will appear soon.
Well, that's highly significant. I'm not sure how most people inside Wembley Stadium would cope with aggressively warming up on an afternoon like this. It is hot. But Bellingham's just 17 years old, and if he comes onto the field, there's a little bit of history there. He'd be the first 17-year-old to play for England at a tournament, World Cup or European Championship. And what we've seen of him so far certainly suggests he's up to it. 1-0 to England. Raheem Sterling's goal in the second half. Marcus Rashford, winning his 42nd cap, the captain last weekend. Kane trying to latch onto a ball near the centre circle, but Vida, who got there first. Goalkeeper Livakovic passes it out. Modric to the far side.
He is coming on, John.
Yeah, he is. He's got his red training top on the far side, the 1966 style red shirt, and he's now being handed his match shirt. And Jude Bellingham, Gareth Southgate,
I think we caught from Mount,
is going to look to the Borussia Dortmund teenager for the final moments. Here's Petkovic giving it square to the right-hand side, where Vlasic gives it down the right flank. England have 3 men around the ball, and Sterling comes out with it and clears it away downfield. Chalatatsar miscontrols it on the halfway line, otherwise he might. He's untroubled and challenged there. If he'd been able to control that, he could have sent it forward and put pressure on. And at the moment, looking at the way that the players are lined up, it's almost a 4-man Croatian front line as they try to put pressure and press England and force the equaliser. And Bellingham is coming. He's on the far side. Gareth Southgate just turns to him and puts a hand on his left shoulder. He can feel Gareth Southgate's hand on his shoulder. He can feel the hand of history on his shoulder as well, Jude Bellingham. Throw into England, and we're going to see the change now. What a moment for this young man. He's going to replace the England captain, Harry Kane, and Jude Bellingham will step into the action once the referee, actually in fact the referee is waving Harry Kane off the field, and then on he comes. Jude Bellingham sprints onto the field and becomes the first 17-year-old to play for England at a World Cup or a European Championship finals tournament. And he also becomes the youngest player to appear at a European Championship. So that is quite an achievement for this young man. England 1, Croatia 0, and the ball is out of play for a throw-in on the halfway line.
He's just put him in midfield. John Mason Mount's come to his right-hand side, and Rashford's gone up as the number 9 now.
Modric now takes it on and plays it towards the left-hand side. And now here is Perisic. Perisic into the full-back position. Low ball into the box. Angles it back towards the edge of the area. Modric couldn't get there. Bounces away from Rashford. And now the intensity is upping because Croatia are having to force this. Bellingham slides in. Excellent work. Sterling plays it over the top, but too much on that from Sterling. And it bounces all the way through to goalkeeper Livakovic, who will quickly give it out. 7.5 minutes to play. England 1, Croatia 0. And in the warmth of this London afternoon, much of this game is being played certainly not at the highest tempo, but Croatia now have to step it up. Vida, that blonde ponytail wagging behind his head. Back it comes to Vida. Vrsaljko on the right hand side. And now Brekalo just moves infield and plays it back to Chaleta Tsar. England dropping back into position as Croatia attack towards the end to our left. Perisic swirls the ball in and Pickford is able to get a good sight on it. It was curling into the back post, but he was able to take 3, 4, 5 steps back, catch it and fall to the ground.
He's not been a threat today, Perisic, has he, on this left? Kyle Walker's really had him in his pocket, hasn't he? He's not really got at him. He's never took him on, never went outside, never cut inside, had a shot.
That's Chris Waddle. Karen Carney down behind the goal. The crowd trying to do their bit. 6.5 minutes to go. Pickford's rather sliced his clearance. Ball bounces there. Bellingham trying to shield it against Brekalo. The ball bounces out of play off the Croatian, and it's a throw-in for England that Kieran Trippier obviously is in no hurry to take. Croatia are preparing their latest change. That'll be their 4th change, and whether we'll see it before the throw-in, I'm not sure. Trippier comes forward and is waiting to take this. Trippier, throw down the line. Vrsaljko hooks it away. Modric is onto that quickly. Modric up through the middle to Petkovic. Then Modric takes it on again. Good challenge comes in on him, but that's given as a free kick by Phillips. So it's a free kick again. Another one of those decisions, but it's a free kick to Croatia on the right-hand side.
Look, a desire, Modric going to the end, isn't he? Look, determination. I don't think it was a foul. I think Phillips plays the ball, then follows through slightly to nudge him over.
And the latest change sees Mario Pasalic at Atalanta, one of the men involved in Atalanta's rise, and he replaces Kovacic. So Kovacic is off, and Mario Pasalic is on to replace him in the midfield. Free kick to Croatia on the right-hand side. England holding their line outside the box. Gareth Southgate's side leading through Raheem Sterling's goal. Modric takes a couple of steps forward, then thinks again. Then he points towards the penalty area. And then there's a second start from Modric, who swings it in towards Chaleta Tsar, but the whistle's gone. The referee saw some pushing, I think, by Chaleta Tsar, and now there's a reaction as well against John Stones. Tyrone Mings trots across and steps in front of the Croatian number 5. And the two of them just have a little standoff as well. And the referee says, come here. Come here. Come here. And Chaleta Tsar has to stop in his tracks. And the referee indicates that he'll have no more of that. 1-0 England.
No. Listen, Croatia, I thought they would have thrown more risk, throw a few more bodies forward and that. They've kept the shape, they've changed personnel, we know that, but they've never upped the tempo. They've not asked any questions of England since they went a goal down. They've not really put England under any pressure.
Really, in terms of opportunities that they've had in the match, I'm not sure Pickford's had a save to make. Ball's out of play on the far side for a throw-in to Croatia. 4 minutes to play. For the first time this afternoon, the sun just slightly loses its intensity. There must be a cloud up there somewhere. Ball comes back to goalkeeper Livakovic, who passes it out towards the right-hand side. Commentary on Austria against North Macedonia to come with Ian Dennison, Rob Green from 5 o'clock. We'll have more with Jack Wilshere and Micah Richards. More England internationals joining us again after this game finishes. But we're into the last 5 minutes now. Indeed, 87th minute on the clock. Modric Rashford moves across. Ball is passed out to Brekalo, took his eye off the ball. Sterling is back in there, the England goal scorer. He's able to block it out of play for a Croatia throw down the right, halfway inside the England half. Versalco quickly trots across, gets the ball back from in front of the ever-changing advertising hoardings, and then Versalco receives it back, but it bounces away from him, and it's being shepherded towards the dead ball line. It's a goal kick, says the Italian assistant. Goal kick England.
If you look at Croatia, Johnny, you'd say nice football team, got some nice midfield players, don't panic all over the park, but they've got no attack, no striker where you actually fear who's going to score. You look at them and think, who's going to score a goal for you? And I can't see it. Even the subs who come on, they haven't got a number 9. And for all the nice football they play at times, they just haven't got that number 9 who can finish the ball off.
Which is kind of tallies. You were telling me the warm-up games. Tallies with what happened in those matches.
Armenia, it should have been 8-0, 8-1, 8-2 possibly, but the chances they created and they couldn't take.
Oh, clash of heads here. Jude Bellingham and Domagoj Vida have... We've seen this time and again, haven't we, in the matches at the tournament? It feels like there have been numerous clashes of heads, and this time it's Bellingham who's been caught in the back of the head by Vida, who was caught on the side of his forehead. So this will be a lengthy stoppage here, because clearly all of the protocols will have to be carried out. And actually Jude Bellingham does not look terribly comfortable. Oh, here he is, getting up. Let's go back down to Karen, who will have a different view of that incident. Karen?
The medical team was straight on there and actually rolled him over, protected him, assessed him first before any movement. Really, really good to see. But Jude's up, walking around, having a drink, moving his neck around, looks completely okay, walking off. But again, medical team were straight on there, fantastic, putting an arm around him. He looks okay, which is really good news.
Yeah, on his feet, and a number of the players now using the opportunity to get the water bottles on the far side. There's quite a lot of activity going on over there, and Gareth Southgate is some discussion as well going on. The fourth official is over there, and Jude Bellingham is just waiting to come back on with Vida. Free kick for England, but it's overhit, this one, and bounces away from Mount and straight behind for a goal kick. So he's only made 2 changes, Gareth Southgate. You would think, break up the match towards the end. I was just expecting that there would be
somebody else coming on now, isn't there?
Is that? I'm trying to see who that is from this distance.
Calvert-Lewin.
Does look like Calvert-Lewin, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Calvert-Lewin it is. Ball played back towards Chalata Tsar. We're in the 90th minute now at Wembley Stadium. 5 live in the World Service from the BBC. England closing in on what would be their first win in their opening match at a European Championship. They drew both matches in the previous tournaments that England started out at Wembley, World Cup 66 against Uruguay and against Switzerland at Euro 96. But it's still in the balance. Long ball forward to Perisic, who heads it across the England box, but Pickford allows it to roll and then drops on it. Every second counts.
Well, that's Perisic's first running behind Kyle Walker. Sometimes Kyle Walker knows he's quick, so he gives the attacker a yard, and this time he could have paid the price, but nobody followed Perisic up the park.
4 minutes of added time, and we're into them. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, next time the ball goes out of play, will get his first taste of action at a major senior tournament. World Cup winner, remember, in his days with the England younger teams. England with the ball on the left-hand side. Rashford blocked away, ball bounces forward. It's actually quite a scrappy, disrupted end to the game with that clash of heads between Bellingham and Vida. And now the change is made. Calvert-Lewin coming on for the goal scorer Sterling. Back on his old stamping ground. Great day for him. He took the captain's armband after Kane went off, and now that's being tossed over to Marcus Rashford. But here's the reaction to Raheem Sterling, scorer of England's goal here. And on comes Dominic Calvert-Lewin for the final moments. Modric with the ball. He's in between the 2 central defenders. Modric gives it to Vida. Versalco now on the right. Versalco forward, bounces past Mings. Mings shields it from Petkovic. Returns it to Pickford, who had to be quick along the dead ball line. Got there, whipped it away left-footed. And it's headed infield by the newly arrived Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Croatia back with it, all in black. Croatia with Gvardiol moving infield. Mount goes with him back to the halfway line to Modric. 2 minutes of added time to play. Gareth Southgate watches edgily on the edge of the coaching area as England look to start with a win here at Wembley. Challenge comes in, good one by Bellingham, and then Versalco, I'm not sure he kept the ball in. The crowd thought it was out of play on the far side, but the assistant was right there, says play on. Modric now in the centre circle. Croatia have got to go long, they do, with Modric. Ball into the penalty area, which is headed across. Pickford comes for it and catches it on the corner of the 6-yard box ahead of Petkovic.
Yeah, it was a good ball by Modric, wasn't it? But again, there's nobody reacts, like strikers do react. Where can I get the goal? Nobody reads the header. By the time they decide to chase it, it's in Pickford's arms.
England will play next on Friday night against Scotland. You'll hear that with us here on 5 Live. 8 o'clock kickoff. Such a big game. Scotland play their opening match of the group tomorrow against Czech Republic. That's at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, live from Hampden with us on 5 Live. But England with Rice, now Modric. Modric is able to work it centrally and then gets it back, and Modric stabs it up towards Perisic, but Walker was there. Walker, who's done nothing wrong against Perisic, back to Pickford. Control on his left foot, clears it out of play on the halfway line. 93 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. The whistles from the home supporters. Vida to Modric. Modric curling it forward. Mount is able to get there. Phillips, one of England's top men here. Calvin Phillips just allows it to bounce out of play, and it's a throw into Croatia. Who are you picking out, Chris?
Phillips has been impressive, very impressive today. I think Trippier's done well at left back. But Phillips for me is the one who stood out. Sterling's looked a lot sharper, looked better than what he showed for Man City. He looked a lot sharper than what he has been, and but yeah, Phillips has been a standout player for me.
England chasing it, Bellingham and Calvert-Lewin. 94 minutes are on the clock. Vida hits it long. Still we play on. If it's going to come late, it's going to come very late. The equaliser for Croatia comes off the head of Stones, out of play. It's a long throw. Perisic is going to have time to take this. He backs up against the hoardings just down to our left here at Wembley Stadium. The penalty area is packed. Perisic with the throw, it's headed away, it comes out for a shot on the turn which flies away over the top of the bar, and the final whistle goes, and England have seen it out for an opening victory here against Croatia. And England players, a huddle of them, hugged together. Raheem Sterling's goal has done it. For the first time, England have won their opening match at a European Championship, and Gareth Southgate's team have started off with a win against the team that knocked them out of the World Cup in Moscow 3 years ago. It was tight, it was very tight, Chris Waddle, but it was won by that goal in the 57th minute from Raheem Sterling.
Well, we saw the good and the bad of England today. I thought they started okay, then had 25 minutes where they were pressed Croatia back and really thought they're going to score, maybe score more than one. Then they come off the pace, let Croatia dictate the game for a period. Second half's been, you've got to say, end to end. It's not really... No, I wouldn't say any team dominated second half. Croatia are an experienced side, and it's a good win for England. That a lot of people thought they would win and it would be easy. It wasn't easy, but that is a great start.
A winning start. The final score here at Wembley as the England players go around one another, handshakes, hugs, hands clasped, is England 1, Croatia 0.
Yeah, both sides had 8 shots, 8 attempts tonight, a couple on target for England, 1 on target for Croatia. Great win, Karen Carney. Positives to pick out, decent performance.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Being at this level, I could actually see the game management of the players. The substitutions were on point, the tactical element of it. It was really good to see it at ground level, and I keep reiterating it, but the temperature is ridiculous. It is so hot. So credit to the players, how they managed it, how they managed the occasion. I spoke about how absorbing that pitch is, but look, they're just doing a lap of honour now. We're applauding the crowd because the crowd have been fantastic, and as I said earlier, Luka Modric said it was a game changer, and the fans have been absolutely brilliant, and you saw a massive shift in momentum and in tempo when the crowd got behind the England side.
a real togetherness here, isn't there, Karen, on this England side? The subs are out there. Harry Maguire has come out there to walk. Gareth Southgate on his own, just a little bit away from the rest of the squad, applauding and cheering the fans.
Yeah, they're all coming over now quite close towards us. You know, they're all clapping the fans. It means a lot to them, you can see it, but it's a great start. Tournament football is about momentum and kicking off with a good start. They do look a bit drained and tired. The heat is definitely zapped them, but credit to them, doing their lap of on and out.
We'll bring you plenty of reaction from here at Wembley. Austria against North Macedonia, our second commentary, and that will come from 5 o'clock. Just watch Carl Walker and John Stones, who are the last of the England players. They're lagging behind everybody else as they applaud those England fans. So many of them congregated behind you, Karen. I mean, I'm fairly sure the majority of those fans behind you aren't in their original seats, and they've moved together to create a kind of England end, haven't they?
Yeah, they've all come down and trying to get as close to the pitch as possible. And the England fans to the right of me now is where their family and friends are. So all the England players, are going over there, you know, celebrating towards their family and friends, because it's a different thing to see to have players have their family and friends in the stadium. It's new for them as well. So they're going over there and lapping it up and celebrating with them. But you're right, the fans behind me are singing Three Lions on a shirt. They've got the flags out. We're absolutely loving it. There's quite a few sunburnt people, I'm not going to lie, including myself. But the atmosphere is absolutely fantastic.
Let's try and get you into the shade, and you can come up and sit with myself and Chris in this commentary position, just watching some of the England players who are being taken over to do some interviews. I can see that Raheem Sterling has been taken over. Calvin Phillips is walking in that direction as well. Of course, it was Phillips who set Sterling up for the goal. Jack Wilshere and Micah Richards are with us as well. Calvin Phillips covered just over 10 kilometres. Him and Rice, the two players who covered the most distance in that game, the only two players over 10k. And Jack, actually, you said it at half-time that the inside right position was the area that England could exploit, and that was where Phillips found himself to set the goal up for Sterling.
Yeah, I felt like the Croatian wingers were not cheating, but not really defending, and the space was going to be there, and Phillips made a great run and great bit of composure as well. I think the midfield, all the midfield were great today. I think they got it right. I think Deck sat a little bit deeper, allowed Phillips to roam a little bit, and even when they were pressing without the ball, you know, in this heat you can't press every time, but they picked their moments. They won the ball back. Modric started to come into the game a little bit, but he didn't really cause them any problems. They were happy with him getting the ball a little bit deeper. So yeah, no, they got it right today. And listen, it was all about winning the first game. Let's keep it going. Can we play better? Yeah, probably. But we won the game, and I'm sure they'll go back and analyse it and improve on it.
Yeah, and Phillips' performance probably, Micah, as we touched on again at half-time, the one that surprised us, not how well he played, because people who've seen him for Leeds this season will know what a good player he is, but his positioning.
He was absolutely exceptional. Like, you know, we don't like to big up, you know, the tournament's just started and whatnot, but what he produced today in terms of more his positioning, getting in between the lines, him and Rice run the most in midfield, and affecting the game on the big stage. And I just thought everything that he did today was just perfect. And, you know, it was a joy to see, because sometimes when you get to these, you know, the tournament football, a lot of people sort of go in the shell a little bit, but he relished the task and he really turned up today. So absolutely buzzing for him.
Chris, what positives would you pick out?
Phillips was brilliant, you know, and there's talk about who was going to play in their race with Jordan Henderson. Would be fit enough? It was a bit of a thing. He came in and he looks the part, no doubt about that. His positional sense, his work rate, his effort, but he's talented on the ball as well. It's not just people, you know, some people can get the ball back and pass it. He can create as well, as we saw it with a goal, but he's not bad with it. He did some great 40-50 yard passes as well. He's a top midfield player. So I think there's more to come from Foden. I don't think we saw the best of him today. I think it was one of them sort of no risk. I don't want to give the ball away. I think he needs to be a little bit more positive, direct, and if he loses it, he loses it in the final third. I don't think people's going to moan at that. Raheem Sterling a lot brighter today. That's how, he looked sharp, and his movement was good, and obviously got a goal, which will help his confidence. But yeah, overall, it was a decent team performance against an awkward side to play against.
Chris, did you see? Because obviously you're at the game. Obviously, I'm watching it on TV here, but with he always looked like he had his head up. That his first four, talking about Calvin Phillips, it was just to pass forward. Could you see that? A little bit more from where you were sat.
Yeah, he's got the range. He can get it off the back four and he can ping it everywhere. I've seen it for Leeds this season a lot. He can hit 40, 50 yard passes with ease if he needs to, and he's grown in confidence. And we all know, whatever people say about this player and that player, listen, you wouldn't beat England if you were not good enough. So it's all about confidence, and sometimes people come in and just hit the ground running and full of confidence, and you think, wow, what a player he is. He's come in and he's done that. Every time he's put an England shirt on, he looks the part. So he's got all range of passing, covers the ground well, reads the game very well. But what he's got is he's got confidence. Now, whether that's still we're playing with Leeds, the way Leeds have had a season, or the manager puts it into him, he's got confidence. And when you've got confidence, as a player, you just play the game. You don't even think about it.
Are you coming back, Micah?
No, he said everything he needed to say. It was just brilliant.
I thought I heard a dog bark there.
It's my dog. Sorry,
it was just...
was it? Okay.
It was, though, because sometimes when you're watching a game live, you see things, but on TV, every time he was looking for that long 30, 40-yard pass, but it wasn't on. He would still play forward. Sometimes when we have the tendency of the pass as a midfielder to just go sideways and just play the easy pass. I'm not going to be the one who's going to make the mistake, but I didn't see any of that in his game today. I was very impressed with it.
Let's just go to the French Open tennis because the second set has been decided. Russell Fuller.
What a story brewing here. Stefanos Tsitsipas playing a dream match in his first Grand Slam final leads Novak Djokovic, the world #1, chasing a 19th Grand Slam title by 2 sets to love. Took the first set on a tiebreak, 8-6 in an hour and 9 minutes after saving a set point, and he's cantered through the second, winning it by 6 games to 2. Things started changing for Djokovic when he took a nasty fall in the first set. Avoided injuring himself, but it really shook him up, and in the second set, perhaps a legacy of the 4 hours and 11 minutes he spent on court against Rafael Nadal in Friday's brutal semi-final in mind, he's been looking low on energy. He's going to have to come back from 2 sets to love down to win the title.
Thank you very much, Russell. 5 Live Sports Extra if you want to listen to that. On my stats screen in front of me here at Wembley, a gold star has been placed next to the name of Raheem Sterling, so I'm assuming he was awarded player of the match. And actually, in the context of Sterling's season, Jack, also in the context of huge discussion about who's playing either side of Harry Kane going into this opening game of the tournament, Gareth Southgate will be delighted and Sterling himself will be delighted that he is the goal scorer.
Yeah, I think you can tell that Sterling is Southgate's player. Like, Southgate really trusts him. He's never let him down. He was brilliant in the last World Cup. And yes, he's been in and out of the team at Man City, but let's be honest, Man City could play probably 2, maybe 3 teams that could win the Premier League. So it's a difficult team to get into. And when he's played